Hello, gamers. Hello, I'm back. Man, oh man. Okay, so, fuck. Alright, wow. When was the last time I streamed? Beginning of the month. My bad. My bad. There's a lot. There's a lot. I'd love to talk about why I had to take a break, for a bit. Trust me, it was big. It was not over the content that I cover. All right. That was not the case. Hello. Hello. Hello, gamers. So it was not over the content. I'd like to talk about it in detail, but I think it's going to have to wait. It's not good, but there is some good news, is that some of it was related to the business, so that took me away for a little bit. The coffee business, of which tea is coming very soon. So we're doing that. We tested it out at a convention, and we sold out, so that was awesome. Middle of next month, I'll also be doing another con, so there's all that. But as for why I took a break, this IRL stuff that has been very exhausting and tiring, so I'm dealing with that. But yes, but the tea will come, both my personal tea and then the tea from the business. But today we're talking about TT, capital T with a big T, right? Because we're talking about drama. I said I'd come back and do it part 3 to Supermega. So let me give you a bit of a inside the mind of Diesel. So you know, as we've covered a lot of these, like sexual assault, workplace misconduct, bad people doing bad things type stories, right? I've talked about how mentally draining and exhausting it is. Clevo also in the chat. Welcome, brother. We got a lot of regulars. Shout out to all the mods here today as well. Thank you, gamers. But yeah, so I had talked about how this stuff is exhausting, and that's not why I stopped covering it. I had planned to basically cover Supermega Part 3, which was going to be focusing on Ethan and Nick. And the reason I didn't get around to doing it is because on some angles, I got really tired of how they kind of got away with it. So I'll talk a bit personally about this, because I think it's pertinent to this situation. But first, Slaw, thank you. I appreciate that, dude. So it's gonna keep farting, because that's my fart with reverb is my dono sound. But yeah, if you haven't checked out the coffee company, please do. We've been working really hard on it, right? And we will have more stuff soon. If you like the art, by the way, please buy a poster. A portion of those proceeds go back to the artist Figburn, who worked very hard on those. Also doubles as a fucking game dev. Very talented young guy. So, you know, that's why we sell those posters. Well, I don't know how to drink, apparently. Diesel was in a rubber room for the past month. I might as well have been in a rubber room, cat. So, Anslaw re-upped his membership. Thank you for staying a gas station attendant. So, let's talk about that, right? So it kind of seemed like they got away with it, and let's like ruminate on where I'm coming from with this, right? I've been in this game for a while. I cover drama, right? And my entire career, I've always covered drama to some extent, either comedically or seriously. I've gotten more serious over the years because it's what resonates with people, right? In 2019, right, we're going to talk about past T. I was there sitting in the room, right? You might remember a cancellation gone awry where a young woman by the name of Che accused a young man by the name of Slazo of being a rapist, right? And here's where I'm involved in this, right? I was friends with everybody who had came out to defend Che. Now, speaking very, and again, this came up in Quite's video, but, you know, fucking, I'm going to give you my perspective of it, right? Hold on, I'm getting a call, like, right now, so let me do that.
This is a certified hood classic.
Meaning to drop this for a bit now. Thank you for all the work, Diesel.
All right, my bad. Sorry about that. Some shit. All right. Somebody donated too. Let me read that. That was on Stream Elements. But yeah, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a background, right? So this girl accuses Slazo of SA, right? And here's what's happening behind the scenes, right? She wants to come out with a statement. She asked all of her creator friends, because she was in that business, she was an artist. She asked all of her creator friends to help her come up with that and places them in a group chat. Everybody was under the impression that she was telling the truth, right? Because why would a friend lie about that? That's weird as fuck, right? People in their early 20s believe this girl, right? There we go. Anyway, she makes her statement. Slazo doesn't say anything for a bit. Slazo comes out with a statement much later that confirms basically that this girl is chatting shit. And I'm giving a very bad example of this, right? But from my perspective at that time, with the people that I didn't say anything, but I was like, okay. And we were at VidCon when it was happening. And I was sitting there in an Airbnb with all of the parties involved. And I was going, okay, this is interesting. And we were getting, like, death threats. And by no means is it okay to accuse someone of something serious like that without any evidence or to back it up. Let's be real. There was no reason for any of those people to be involved or help her at all. Right? But it was insane to turn around, right? It was like she came out with her statement. And then immediately, like, literally everybody came fucking slamming in, clapping back against it, right? Almost in sync, right? And, you know, there was crazy shit like death threats, some of them credible, some of them not so credible. Lots of stuff. And I'll get to Alex in a second. I will get to Alex in a second, right? And so I don't know if I want to say that Nick is not green pulled and I'm Alex yet. Alex is a very particular type of person. So I'll get to that in a second, right? But commentary was at a very different space. It was a lot more powerful then. Like back then, there was a lot more people who made content, right? And they would put out videos on stuff. And then these days, it's not so much. I mean, there's Tom Dark, right? And Augie streams on occasion. But the culture of this community, right, was a lot stronger back then. It was a lot more vocal. And these days, like, you know, people are like, I'm going to come back and make content. And then they never do. Or, You know, Keemstar doesn't do Drama Alert anymore. He doesn't even stream on his channel, right? So it was, right? Okay. You're in a room with a bunch of people that you care about, right? And now the internet is telling you, believe something else, right? And I didn't say anything. Right? But of course I'm going to believe my friends. Why the fuck would they lie? Right? But I don't know Che from a hole in the wall. I don't know Slazo from a hole in the wall. The reality is people didn't really know him that well. Right? But the reason I bring this all up is because, and it's a little bit of a whataboutism, but it annoyed me because I felt like I was a crazy person because it was me, Chud Logic, and Kristen Ark. And we're the only people talking about how Lex might be pulling the wool over people's eyes, or how this stuff with Nick is not green and Ethan is online seems really fucking weird. And it was just very disheartening that I wasn't seeing a lot of action being said against it, right? Because I value this community and its ability to stick by its morals and beliefs. So it was just very weird to be like, well, you guys did it here, do that again. So I just felt like I was a crazy person, or maybe I was like wrong, right? And obviously the chat agreed with me, right? You guys are going to agree with me, right? But I just felt like I was going crazy because there was so little to be talked about. And then it was like 2 weeks ago, Tom hits me up. We talk about these things behind the scenes a little bit. About all this stuff with Nick is not so green, Lex, and all that, right? And I was like, this is driving me nuts. How this has just gone on and on and on. And we come now to this current point in time where I'm covering this. And we have all this shit with, like, Destiny now speaking about it. And now the game has changed completely. Now everybody's talking about it. Right? And it just annoys me. It just annoys me that people didn't say shit earlier. Like, the information was there. It was there weeks ago. And it sucks. It sucks because I don't really see Nick is not green losing anything from this, and I think there should be some fucking kind of consequences for his shitty behavior, right? I think there should be consequences for the shitty behavior of the people involved, right? I think the consequences that the quote-unquote Reddit crew got during the Slazo situation, completely reasonable, minus the death threats. Don't send death threats to anybody. That's bad, right? But I'm saying it was reasonable that they got shit for that. They should. But here, I didn't see people give them shit aside from fucking Destiny, right? Until recently. It just, like, how is it so delayed now? Like, we're more connected now as a community, commentary-wise, than ever. But it just annoyed me. It just fucking annoyed me. I felt crazy trying to explain this to people and them just not bothering to look into it. That's how I felt. I desperately wanted somebody bigger to cover this because I felt like there was an injustice being served, right? But that's where things are. Better late than never, I'd say, right? It's great that Tom is speaking about it. It's great that Destiny is speaking about it, regardless of whatever you think about Destiny and his quest to fuck every BPD internet e-girl on planet Earth, right? Regardless, it's great. I'm glad. I appreciate it, right? A lot of people in Nick's audience don't seem to care. That's true. They don't care, right? The internet is a lot bigger now, and you have these communities, right? The community that watches Nick is never going to be like, you know, they're never going to take Destiny's word on it because they're probably in Camp Hassan, right? Because this is all like internet politics things, right? So we're never gonna get like Nick is never gonna get his comeuppance for this, right? You can just go around and like ruin his credibility, but as long as it looks like he's doing the, the bare minimum, his audience is gonna be cool with it, right? But the way I look at it, right? Like you have personal experience and you expect things to happen one way based on your past knowledge of how these things go. And then when it doesn't go that way, it just drove me fucking insane. I felt like I was a crazy person for it not going that way, right? And I know it's very like whataboutism, right? But fuck you, it's my stream, right? Let me read the tip from Xandra. Xandra is on fire. Me to drop this for a bit now. Thank you for all the work, Diesel. Thank you for the fucking 20. That was very nice of you. Hassan stream win. Okay, here's another side story before we get into the main meat and potatoes of today's digital receipts. I did a video on Hassan a long time ago, and it was very critical. It was when he was calling PewDiePie a bunch of insane things, right? Now, Hassan has a problem of that he doesn't touch grass, so his perception of reality is entirely warped. Very champagne socialist. But I did this video on him when he was good homies with Destiny. My old video on Hassan ends up on the Destiny subreddit. I got fucking, like, harassed for weeks by angry Hassan fan Redditors. Like, Jesus. I was talking to some people on Nick's Reddit, and a lot of the people were excusing him because he was helping his friend. Well, that's exactly where it becomes a problem, right? But yeah, so I got harassed like for fucking ever, right? And then ultimately, the video wasn't bad, and honestly, I'd probably stand by the things that I said in it. But I just took it down because what the fuck am I going to do? Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk shit to Hassan, who has like an audience thrice the size of me. And it was just, I didn't want to deal with the heat. It was just fucking terrible, right? So that's, I did a video on Hassan. That was it, right? Anyway, let's get to the current situation at hand, right? Let's talk about Lex's video. We watched Lex's video on our first stream. We watched the whole fucking thing. I'm not blocked yet. That's crazy. So we watched Lex's whole fucking video. And Lex took it down. All right? Lex took it down. I know she made a post about this. All right. In case anyone was wondering why my comments are off everywhere, it's because my notifications are filled with guys like these. This should come out without saying, right? Let's not harass Lex. I don't think it's going to help the situation at all. But yeah, so this shit is going on. And Lex took the video down. I think Chris has the tweet up on his Twitter. Let me pull it up. All right. Here we go. I know I saw a fucking tweet of her comment about it. Kate, thank you for becoming a gas station attendant. All right, here it is. She updated her description as to why she unlisted it. All right, I'll read this all out for you. Let's, all right. The last year and a half has been the worst time of my life. I was assaulted and blah, blah, blah. Edit, if you're reading this, is now unlisted because it no longer needs to be up as it has served its purpose, which was one, getting my message to people that mattered to me after a long time of not having been okay. Okay, so I'm gonna be super uncharitable to Lex. I got a lot of women in my audience, right? And a lot of the women in drama talk on the server were talking about how, like, they were running out of sympathy to give Lex, because a lot of this shit is not buyable at all. Super Mega guys are too soy to do it, but Lex and Nick should be sued into oblivion. Suing is a nuclear option. Cough, cough, Illuminati. Right? Okay, so I'm going to be super uncharitable. If you're reading this, it's now unlisted. It no longer needs to be up as it serves its purpose, which was getting my message to people that matter to me after a long time of not having been okay. Okay, Lex, that's an interesting statement because you clearly have been talking to the people who mattered because they also made statements on your behalf. These are people you've talked to in private. When I have problems in my life, I don't come on here and say, like I said I have something going on in my live stream. I'm not talking about it now, right? You know what I didn't do? I didn't go sit down in this fucking chair and go, hey guys, so life's been really bad. Here's the thing that's been bothering me lately and why I haven't been streaming in detail, right? Because you're not the person who needs to know about those things. The people close to me are the one that need to know about those things, right? So I don't know if a video is the appropriate response. Listen, I can't get to everybody, guys, so I'm just going to make a video for the public internet to see. 2, the ability to talk about what had ultimately led to me being emotionally devastated for a very long time, affecting many important aspects of my life. Hence, part of why I spoke about the aftermath of the assault so much. Okay, so the ability to talk about what had ultimately led to me being emotionally devastated for a long time. Okay. Right? So here's what's an interesting part about that, right? She talks about the assault with this Don guy, which me, personally, I think something happened there. We're not going to know. My reasoning is Don is some fat Redditor Discord boy. That's my reasoning. Horrible reasoning. That's my reasoning, right? So this thing happens to you, and then it somehow dominoes to affect every other portion is interesting, and I don't know if I particularly agree with that line of reasoning for why you spoke about everything else so much. You had a lot of completely unrelated incidents that you included in this, like... Everyone closer already knew and made videos about it seems. They almost certainly had a Discord. I will get to that later on. All right. I want to read the rest of this, but unfortunately, I just drank a gigantic thing of Gatorade, so I have to use the little gamer's room, and yes, I will wash my hands.
This is a certified hood classic.
Tie for washing your hands so I'm not known as someone who simps for a non-hand washer. Purple heart.
This hand washing slander is just getting out of fucking control. Holy shit. I came back just in time to hear that. Alright. Anyway. Gamers, let's continue reading this. Oh, God. This is fucking giving me chest pains is what it gives me. Alright. Let's continue reading her post. When I was assaulted before, when I was 17, I wasn't believed by my close friends. Okay. Lex. Jesus. All right. Here's part of the problem. Is that Lex keeps bringing up tangentially related things.
Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy.
That's true. That's true. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy. like, okay. You know, if it happened and she's a victim, this is horrible. And, you know, like a retreading of trauma. But then alternatively, this does nothing to help the current situation at hand, right? You need to be very clear and to the point and show receipts. And that's all you need to do to, like, get one of these things, like, through, right? And obviously there's always going to be detractors because that's the internet. But it changes the situation significantly when you do something like that. Wasn't believed by my close friends, so being believed by them is the most precious thing I could ask for. I felt so relieved being able to know that people now knew I wasn't acting like myself. But the thing is, Lex, is that you've told these people these things. You've talked about it in private, and this has gone on and on and on. But that doesn't justify the existence of the video and so many tangentially related things, especially when a lot of those things are not related to you. Like, why did you need to bring up how Leighton was considered like an odd man out? I mean, Leighton kind of did that himself, but the point is that, hey, man, maybe you should fucking explain some of this shit. All right. I'm so thankful to be believed by so many, despite me going on for too long about too many different things. My perspective was that if I talked about so many things that no one could ever say something like Lex. Whoa. Oh. Okay. What? Did you watch the lyrics video yet? Not yet. I'm coming into this pretty fresh. My perspective was that if I talked about the many things that no one could say something like Lex made this up. No. Lex, when you talk about every single personal grievance you've ever had, it makes you look like you have some kind of ulterior motive, right? I can't talk about like an essay thing and then talk about how the boss of a company was mean to another employee that you were friends with. Because too many things happened that I couldn't even dreamt of making up than just being really vague about what happened. In doing that, made my sorry hard to understand for many people, giving people who had no reason to be charitable a reason to outright disbelieve me. It also doesn't help that I have had an individual around me who made this worse for me by taking my trust in them for granted, by using it as a platform to say a lot of not okay things while I was out seeing a movie. I would have never talked if I knew something like that would have happened. Are they talking about Leighton? Is Lex talking about Leighton? Leighton is becoming the scapegoat, like, for this entire thing. Right? Because if I recall, she said something about her going out to a movie when Leighton did his stream and it catching everybody up like off guard or something. Yeah, just name Leighton. Exactly. Just name him. Just drop the name. We all know. It has seriously made me regret saying anything despite the relief I felt prior. I genuinely didn't expect this to get as big as it did. What are you fucking saying, lady? You're full of shit, bro. I would be such a fucking asshole about her getting robbed like twice in a row. But where was she when she was squatting in Portland? Scabs are brutal over there. Wouldn't living in LA wizened you up? That's the problem. These are like, you know, obviously if you have tech shit, don't leave it out in the middle of Los Angeles or something like that. Like, come on. What are you doing? These are all really simple, easy to understand things that you could just not do. But she did it anyway. Her complaining about the messy office. Macy, thank you for becoming a member. Her complaining about the messy office and how her contributing to the mess was okay because it was already messy was a poor choice in her original statement. Let's see. I generally expect this to get as big as it did. Okay, you're talking about a humongous YouTuber group and you don't expect it to get big? Like, this is the exact kind of stuff that does get big. This is the exact kind of stuff that people like me cover. That's exactly what's happening here. Jesus. I very rarely upload to this channel. Check the other uploads. I use it like a time capsule, and I upload long messages like life updates to archive them, and didn't. Still don't, to be honest. Really know how to YouTube, and still don't really know how the YouTube algorithm works to know it would have blown up like it did. Being more familiar with the site now, I would have left it without comments and unlisted it from the very beginning. This is baloney. This is such cap. This is cap. This bitch is certified fucking lying right now. This is so cap. Are you fucking kidding me? Get the hell out of here. Are you fucking for real? I can't look at that charitably at all. I can't, like, I use it like a time capsule and place I upload long messages like life updates to archive them, and still don't, to be honest, really know how the YouTube algorithm works. You were friends with YouTubers? You lived with YouTubers? You're telling me that when you're sitting... Hold on. Fucking every single time I sit down to talk with a YouTuber, guess what we have a conversation about? Business, how this industry works, how the algorithm works. You're telling me in all the times that you sat around all these fucking YouTubers at fucking VidCon, at this place, at that place, at Creator Clash, that not once did these people talk about any of these things that are important to understand this business? Come on. Hold on. Better yet, let's look at Lex's channel. Let's see what's on Lex's channel. So the purpose of the video was to get her word out, and then a couple paragraphs later, she would have unlisted it from the beginning. Yeah, well, she didn't know how it worked. She didn't know how the site worked. Oh. I can't fucking believe that. That's like pure unadulterated cap. She lived in a YouTuber office. Exactly. You're telling me not once did fucking that come up? Brother. I just... Hold on. I can't aim my drink at my mouth today. Hold on. I need to finish this. Right? Is there a YouTube channel, Lex Updog? Here we go. I feel like a bunch of content was on here, and it's not on here now. Right? My Windows Defender is going off. I think Nicholas Diorio had a tweet about this. Hold on. Lex Supermega. I'm on the right channel, I think. Oh, man. Ain't looking good. Hold on. I might, because I remember Nicholas Diorio making a tweet about it. Okay. Yeah, no, she just didn't have anything else. Oh. Maybe, was it just that video? I feel like that video had 1 million views. Her job almost requires her to know about SEO and boosting her visibility. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I am losing my brain cells, actually. I am. I've lost my mind. I'm crazy. All right? I was crazy once. Let me finish off reading the statement. But yeah, there's no way that she wouldn't know because of her business. There's just no way. Like what? She just throws caution to the wind when doing fucking OnlyFans stuff? There's just no way. I don't believe that. All right, we read that statement, part of the statement. I use it like a time capsule in place I upload long messages like life updates to archive them. And still don't blah, blah, blah. All right. I linked this video to my smaller Twitter account, closer tied with Don Versus, on my social media, thinking that the people on my Twitter were pretty much the main people that would have seen it, maybe even less. If you compare the views to my other videos, you can see why I thought this. This is no fuck. I don't fucking. This is baloney, right? You make a call out post and it very heavily features Supermega. You're telling me that Supermega isn't directly involved or tied to this at all? My intention was to get my message about Don immediately completed / believed and talk about what happened after that unfortunately led to me see him again, which is what led to a lot of the interpersonal chaos that I learned wasn't necessary explaining in every detail or even at all to be believed. Am I like actually having a hard time reading today, or is it this statement that's like really worded weirdly? Focus on blaming the algorithm makes it feel fishy. Yes. I've always seen online that many things can lead people to not believe victims, and I felt so scared about not being believed that I thought it was more believable to mention more things than less. And I hadn't considered how I've muddied the water instead. So now you're saying a completely different thing, Lex. I don't understand what she is saying. It's not just you. Okay. Because I am actually having a hard time reading this, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You know what I mean? If some things I've said in this as an edit wasn't a tell, I've been very introspective lately. Get the fuck out of here. But very introspective lately, and this situation aftermath has made it obvious I have a lot to learn about in general, but especially having better judgment for myself, and in that I need to meet new people who don't take advantage of me, because I can be really gullible and think everyone has my best interests at heart. Well, I don't think you're very smart. Okay. I can be really gullible and think that everyone has my best interest at heart, even when I shouldn't. Lol. All right. So that statement is bad. It's very bad. And I hate it. It's not good. I can't believe she said that. Which, by the way, fucking Chris the Dark got blocked by her. I'm not surprised. Chris is a very abrasive man. I'm sorry, wasn't she literally on a stream where the super mega sub drop counter? Oh yeah, anyway, let's start pulling up the receipts. Let's get into the receipts, baby. I'm gonna pull up some good ones. All right, so yeah, Lex did show up. Ethan on the line, sickening. Okay, this is some guy. Hold on, let me make sure this isn't like horrifying. Let me mute that. I have too many tabs open. There we go. Chris win. Chris getting blocked by Kristen Arc speedrun. She's on my last nerves. I'm honestly, like, on one hand, right, we all knew it was going to come to this, right? We all knew that everything was going to come back and bite them in the ass. Because that's how these things usually go, right? Chris win. I'm like skimming this stream. Not my stream, this like person. You would think you guys would have gotten blocked immediately. I haven't tagged Lex. I've just followed and watched to see what comes up. You know what I mean? And that's right. Remember to buy Mana Potion Coffee at manapotioncoffee.com. Which, by the way, it's been so long since I've streamed, I like lost my momentum energy, right? Because streaming's very like you gotta come out and like boom. Okay, so this is a guy. I only want to show one thing in particular from this. All right, so Ethan, that's Ethan, by the way. So that high as fuck, mangy looking white boy. That fella right there, that is who Lex is dating. And then look guys, it's Lex. Oh, and it's a super mega literally they're doing a super mega pack watch. Okay? They're doing a fucking super mega pack watch. Fucking cringe. Ethan looks like the child said it was a person.
Here she is.
I like how we're watching a reaction of like streamers reacting to streamers now.
Thank you, Hellbell, for the normal member. Yeah, Lex and Sonic are here. Oh, charge your phone. Charge your phone.
Right, so they're dating, and I have guessed, chat, that possibly Lex had a thing with Rav, right? Because of course this just can't be like a couple doing dumb shit, right? It's a polycule on top of that, right? Or at least it was at a certain point, and Lex has gone in and out from the way Lex has these relationships with men is more like she dates a guy, then adds another guy, then drops the old guy, takes the new guy, takes a new guy, gets another guy, has two guys, drops the old guy, takes the new guy, right? And it just seems to be a pattern. I'm not saying that is what's happening. That's just a guess. I'm hedging there, right? But that's what it looks like. In the VOD, Ethan said to watch Nick's vid every time someone asked, never pointing to Lex's vid or recounting what happened. Oh man. So yeah, that's really all you need to take away from this stream, right? Is that they're doing a pack watch, and they're all homies together, right, hanging out there. Now, none of them expected Leighton to go live and have like a schizophrenic meltdown off his meds, go cuckoo bananas crazy cuckoo, right? It was obvious she posted a vid before she had processed the situation. SA victims don't have perfect, innocent ooh girl angels. Most people are cloud-hungry demons and don't want the whole world knowing their trauma or trying to disprove it. Shame for her for drawing furry titties or whatever. What are you fucking stupid? Do you think I give a shit if she draws porn or does porn? What? Hello? We're not even addressing that. I don't give a shit. She could be a sex worker or whatever. That's fucking fine. That's base. Good for her. Get the bread. I don't fucking care. Brother. Like what is blood waffling about? What is blood waffling about? Absolute fucking brain rot, bro. What the fuck? I love it when like random Andes come in and be like, they just make up arguments that I made. I didn't say that at all. Not once in any of my streams has it been the topic of anything. Okay? You know what has been the topic? Her brand new Jeep, right? All this dumb shit. Here at FPS Diesel, we love porn. That's what the P stands for. Clevo, who would possibly draw porn? Random Randy. Oh shit. All right. So let's say, all right, Diesel, you're being very mean here, right? Do you have any evidence that might suggest that they know things, right? That these people are all on the same page? All right. Well, how come Ethan and Nick were all pack watching this all the way back in fucking April before the information even went live, right? I'm gonna pull that up right now. Hold on. I have like files on top of files in the immortal words of Keemstar. So let's see. All right. Got a light mode screenshot here. All right. You're going to respond? Are you just straight up lying to people? Was that for attention? Or do you enjoy treating your friends terribly, says this person, right? And this person is responding to Leighton, right? Because Leighton had got a lot of shit for being a Supermega detractor after he got let go from the company, right? Now, Leighton is homies with Ethan and Nick, right? They're all homies together. They're all homies in terrible behavior. So Ethan says, fans of Supermega have been harassing my friend Leighton nonstop after he came out, detailing one of the many disgusting cases of homophobia he and many others had witnessed in their office. His is not the only story, and everyone defending them will look very stupid soon. Hello? Right? So, chat, this is kind of like when that ex of Illuminati was saying that I was some clout goblin, and then I turned around and I said, don't test me, but then I actually brought receipts. Now these guys didn't bring fucking receipts. Sounds like a very cool fan base that constantly defends two white dudes who have horrible reputation behind closed doors. Okay, Nick, you also have a very bad reputation, and I don't know what your race is, and I don't want to bring race into this, but it is saying like you're cracker coded. I don't. Your music is just like super suburban corny white boy. I'm sorry, it is. I think this is also a big part of her privating the video. People are just gonna forget or misremember parts of it to her advantage. Yeah, they're literally foreshadowing what's coming later. Okay? Why bring race into that? Because white people are at it again, schizo. Oh my god.
How are you chronically online and hot? How?
I hope that's a compliment to me and not to one of these people because they're all ugly. Pigmented. He goes outside. That's true. Only white people. Only white people could ever be at it again, guys. Come on, you should know better. All right. So there's that. And we haven't watched the video from Nick yet. And I think it's time that we do. So I'm hoping I have it. Oh, wait.
What happened with Supermega?
Oh, wait. Oh. Speaking of Pack Watch, here's a clip from the stream somebody got.
What happened with Supermega? Listen, Nick made a video about it. But all you need to know is that they're bad. Go to their subreddit. There's plenty of information. Google Supermega subreddit and go there now. Look at anything. Look at the first post.
I listen, dude, I have no problem with people smoking weed, but this is not the time, right? Is that hard to say? Like, you look like you're a fucking loser. You're a fucking loser. You're a fucking potato sack of a human being loser. That's it. That's what you are.
Been trending all weekend.
I fucking hate his face. I fucking hate his face. Fucking hell. I get it, guys. I'm irrelevant as fuck. Yo, brother, Ethan, get your fat ass in a fucking ring. I'll put you on the ground. Okay, I can't stand your face. You have such a fucking annoying face. I fucking hate it.
It's funny how fast everyone turned on Supermega. Yeah, and I think that goes to show, right?
That goes to show what? All right, fine, whatever. We got a Nick video to watch. That fucking annoyed the shit out of me. All right, there's a latent stream. Did I really not download it? Oh my god, how did I not download it? I download everything. This dude smokes out of an empty Coke can. Oh, man. Fuck. All right. So now I got to go. Now I got to go click on Nikki's Not Green's channel. All right. He has a video called Supermega is full of horrible people. This was 4 weeks ago.
Hey everyone, hope you're having a good...
Now let's remember that he is in a band with the boyfriend of the girl who is accusing Supermega. Okay? He is not only biased, he is directly involved, friendly on a first name basis with everybody involved. This is beyond anything like that. All right?
Saturday, I'm currently shooting...
Man, this is bugging me. On the wood furnace behind you, is that a tub of Cool Whip? No, so that's to stop the room from getting damp. It soaks in the moisture in the air because I live in a basement. So there we go.
Shooting this video on Friday night at about 10:30 p.m. So if any details have changed since then, I'll do my best to keep everything updated in the video, but I'll let you know how to keep up with the story as we go. Today's video is going to be a little bit different.
Oh, Kojo, that's a great point. So Nick and Ethan are... Their band is called Queef Jerky. Queef Jerky. They liken themselves as a tiny meat gang fans, apparently, based on a name like that. And their new album dropped the same day as the video. Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room.
than normal. It's not really about a drama or any like internet tomfoolery. It's actually
Well, you know what? You're up to some internet tomfoolery. So there's an allegation. This is a theory, a gamer theory from the drama channels that Lex, Ethan, Nick, the whole shebang, all the players involved were in a group chat. Now, I'm kind of mixed on that opinion. There's a possibility that they are, and there's a possibility that they aren't. Part of me thinks that, right, when you're friends with people, you sit around with your friends and you chat shit, right? And when you do, your friends get to, you know, take all this stuff in. So I think it probably happened more, you know, haphazardly, right? It was like a spur of the moment. They're like, oh, this is go time. It's time to go, right? Rather than them sitting around and planning this, right? The term in drama in my community would be gay ops, right? I don't think they were sitting around in a Twitter group chat going, Lex is going to do her video, then Leighton's going to do his video, right? I don't think that's what was going to happen here. I think this was spur of the moment, and it just so happened. But they love women. They can say queef. I'm revoking that right. They can't use it anymore. I have no say in that fight, but I am revoking it.
a much more serious story that involves someone that I'm personally friends with, someone who goes by the name Lex or Lex Updog.
All right, I'm personally friends with this person. Okay, so now you've set your bias up. That's fine, right? But the problem is that this video and every other video from these homies do not stay on the topic of SA. And it becomes much less about what happened to Lex and Don and more about Lex and Supermega. And should have Supermega done something different? Yeah, whatever, right? But the problem is that it looks like Lex and this posse were all wronged by Supermega. As a result, it makes them look like they are retaliating in a way against Supermega to try and get like an internet own.
Online, and she's also the partner of one of my very good friends. Ethan is online, and that's kind of how I first began learning about the situation. So today's story has to do with a YouTube channel by...
Okay, so here's something that happens with drama stuff all the time. Something happens behind the scenes. Drama YouTuber finds out about it. Hey man, should we go live about this? Should we tell anybody about this? No, we're gonna wait. All right, we'll just sit on it and wait for the right time. I hate that. You know how many times I see this in this community? There's a lot of reasons I don't share information that I get from people, right? But so many times do people, like recently Dream tweeted something. And this guy responded to Dream, like clapping back real hard, saying he was like a fucking neat who can't get laid, right? And then he's like, oh, actually, I meant to take that down. I'm sorry. It was a moment of weakness. Like, fuck off. Like, either there's something there or there's not. Stop doing this.
The name of Supermega, who is kind of in the circle of YouTubers that a lot of you probably know. And if you don't remember Matt and Ryan, you might remember them from the first Creator Clash, where they both had the shit beaten out of them. And on Thursday, Lex, who was a former friend of Supermega that started working with them a couple years ago through making art for their thumbnails, came out with a video over 2 hours long that detailed her experience with Matt Watson and Ryan McGee.
Okay, guys. Okay, so here's a problem. Lex's video is about how she was sexually assaulted by a guy named Don who worked for Supermega. But the way this video is phrased makes it sound like Ryan and Matt are directly the ones who caused Lex the problem.
From the YouTube channel.
Well, this is a very different framing of the story, right? Okay, like... Why is the book not being thrown at Don? Don should have the book thrown at him, but Don's not a big creator, right? You can't make a big thing out of that.
Supermega. This also included experiences with multiple employees that were hired by Supermega,
Okay, no. This should be reversed. It should be like, my friend Lex got essayed by a guy who worked for Supermega. Don, right? Not, this is about Supermega, and then there's also Don and Jim. Right? Which, by the way, if we've seen the Jim video, it's not good what they do to Jim. This is bad. This is very bad. This poor guy. Fucking Christ.
another channel artist by the name of Don, and a producer that worked closely with them by the name of Jim. Now, above anything else that we're talking about in today's video, my main objective for this video is to lift up Lex's voice and allow her to be heard about something that she felt unsafe talking about for a very long time. I urge you guys to watch her video and hear out what she has to say so you can know just how gross the details of this story are. There's a lot of sensitive information in this video that it would be very hard for really anybody to talk about, and despite that, Lex was able to talk about a lot of personal experiences that really should never need to be this public, but unfortunately, because of the actions of some pretty horrible people, she has decided to come forward and talk about everything that happened. So about 2 years ago, Lex was in a long distance relationship with Don, who was again another channel artist for Supermega, and she met him for the first
Oh my god, I can't. Does he ever mention Don and Lex were dating? Why not make it apparent right then and there? Because this isn't about that. This is about the fucking the Super Mega Boys, not this. This is just the background lore for their grand fucking tragic tale.
Time in Los Angeles a couple of years ago. Don lived in Germany and Lex lived in Tennessee, but they made a trip out to Supermega in Los Angeles. And the first night that they stayed there, Lex and Don actually both stayed at Matt Watson's house while in Los Angeles. And that first night, Don sexually assaulted Lex.
Especially this particular situation, I was like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. Let me reiterate another point that is not being mentioned here. Is that the entire time they have their online relationship, Don is giving no personal private time to Lex at any sense of the word ever, right? I don't want to hang out in a VC alone with Lex. I don't want to call Lex. I don't want to spend time alone e-dating Lex. But Lex can show up in the group chat with the homies and we can all play Minecraft together. Okay, that's the kind of guy Don was. And the fact that Lex and again, I don't want to victim blame. I'm not trying to victim blame, but like fucking Christ, please, ladies, gentlemen, bitches, bros, and non-binary hoes, have some fucking self-confidence. If your partner is giving you so little attention that they don't even want to hang out with you, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's playing fucking Minecraft. He's so Discord pilled. Fucking, I can't believe you went to go see him. That's incredible.
I don't want to do this. And he kept telling me, like, just do it. And like multiple times while he was like trying to force my head down, and he's like way bigger than me. I don't know, I was really freaked out after that. So eventually he let me go, but I just kind of shut down and just went with like whatever else he wanted that night.
Even after this situation, Don continued to cross several boundaries with Lex. Subscribing to her OnlyFans after they broke up, he continued to tell people that
okay, like this is another thing. If you put your porn out on the internet, you can't be like, you can't subscribe to my porn. Like, you commodified that. Like, okay, I'm pretty sure there's a system in place that you can block people, right? But like, we can't use that as a gotcha. Like that. He's being a paying customer to her porn.
That they were dating each other. He made characters in his art based off of her, and he even threw around the idea of marrying Lex so he could get a green card into the United States to work for Supermega, and even Ryan and Matt both pushed this idea onto Lex.
Once again, he asked Matt, and
they didn't know. Okay. This is remember, that was pushed, that idea was sent towards Lex when, can you not block people on OnlyFans? You probably can. But the Super Mega guys have no fucking clue that this thing happened to Lex, right? Don sexually misstepped, resulting in boundaries being crossed, and the sex ended, but the relationship didn't. Laura, that's exactly what probably did happen. But it's Jesus fucking. It's gonna be a long fucking stream. I'm sorry. I gotta piss again because I have the bladder of a child. All right. I turned on my air conditioner because I'm sweating like a motherfucker right now. So I did that. This whole friend group of Nick, Lex, Layton, and Ethan look like some of the most unpleasant people you could ever hang out with. I feel like if it wasn't for the internet, they'd be very... Like, okay, the thing is, when you're like someone who exists on the internet and only on the internet... Like, you're like a loser in reality, right? But the internet has, almost in a way, made the losers really popular. And so these dysfunctional people who really shouldn't have a platform get one, right? It's the downside of democratizing fame, where all these people who definitely can't handle it or are not built for it have it. And as a result, just end up really fucked over. The weird cassette girl claim Lex makes was just super weird to me. Like, that character was made long before they dated. Plus, it adds fucking nothing. That's a great point, Glebo. That's a great point. People shouldn't forget to buy the coffee, too. That's right. You should buy my coffee at manapotioncoffee.com. Guys, if you've ever wanted to buy coffee, make sure you buy my coffee and use a discount code D10 at checkout for 10% off your order. I don't know who their barbers be, but they need their license revoked. All right, let's continue this Nick video. It has offered nothing new so far.
Him and I were walking up the stairs to Matt's living room, and Matt responded something along the lines of like, why don't you guys just get married? To which Dawn seemed like reciprocal to the idea.
Lex felt uncomfortable after this situation telling anybody about the sexual assault because she was a victim of this emotional and physical manipulation in the past and has dealt with harassment after sharing her story. Lex confronted Dawn months later about how he assaulted her, and Dawn basically did not dispute any of what happened and replied to Lex saying that he did in fact experience the same thing she was talking about. He does remember doing these things to her.
So I said, you remember the first night when you were like pushing my head down and I was telling you no? Yes, he says, basically. He like didn't dispute anything that I said. He was just saying yes. And I was like, you know, that's sexual assault, right? Like, you can't do that to people. Like, that wasn't cool that you did that to me. I've been like really like messed up that you did that. I like have to like get better from this. This is something that I'm like having to recover from because it's making me not well. So I say all this and he says, so does that mean you're breaking up with me? And I was like, what? Yeah. To me, it was like, yeah, no. And that out of everything I said was both the shortest response I had to say, or like the shortest thing I had to say to him and the most devastating.
Lex told Matt and Ryan about this for the first time, and she felt like they were asking about a lot of specific details that made her feel uncomfortable.
I was getting asked about like how things happened and stuff, like very inquisitively when I was on the phone with Ryan. And that was the one thing that I thought was weird, because if I believed someone, I wouldn't be asking that many questions. I'd just be like, you know, I don't.
Well, okay. Don's their employee. They need to ask these questions. They got to determine whether or not they got to fire him or not, bro. Like, brother. All right. Okay. Based on Lex's video and this, right, what Lex wanted to happen was for Don to be let go and for there to be a public statement about it, right? Lex even said it in the video where Lex wanted Don to be let go and for Supermega to make a tweet on their corporate account saying, we let Don go because he SA'd someone, we won't say who. Which you can't just go off and do it.
graphic detail.
It never really seemed like they were worried about the sexual assault and about having an employee or a person under the roof of Matt's house who is a predator. Matt and Ryan took multiple days to respond to her at certain points and made her feel like the situation wasn't a priority to them, along with making it obvious that Matt and Ryan were talking about Don and Lex behind the scenes without immediately letting him go from the company.
They were talking about Don and Lex behind the scenes before letting him go for the company. I wonder why, right? Okay, we go into a meeting about whether or not we need to let a guy go from our business. What are we going to do? Talk about it behind the scenes. Hello? What do you think police do? Exactly. Saga, thank you for remaining a gas station attendant. Remember, folks, it's misogynistic to ask questions. This is killing me.
Not only that, but without kicking him out of Matt's house.
I personally think him and Ryan did lots of talking before he decided to call me back. I felt
Of course they fucking did. What are you, stupid? Hello?
them downplaying it in real time, but
Sigh, he can just fade from the view, because to be honest, be gone, foul beast. Also, the 2 months I wasted there. My brother in Christ, you chose to be here. Okay, so y'all were vague with him and didn't say why he got fired. I mean, they don't need to tell him unless it's a state where that needs to be known, right? And then he's just like, okay, he's gone, right? It's done. And maybe this is a little bit like too memey for this discussion. But like now, and then after that, he's complaining about how this guy is talking about it like he wasted his time at this job.
I was across the state.
What should they do? Have a live stream and let the audience vote on if they kept him on staff or not? Now that would be kind of funny. I will not lie.
Like 5 hours away and could do nothing about it. So that's when I decided I needed to be there. Matt had known since...
Okay. So they haven't let the guy go, and then your response is to go into the room that you're racist. Go into the room that your rapist is in. Your alleged rapist, right? You're going to go into the room. Why would you put... Like, this is like... There's a guy robbing a bank. I walk into the bank robbery. Like, stay away from him. Stay away from him. You can handle... They're either going to fire him or not. You don't need to interject yourself into the middle of the situation.
Or at least I told him, May 25th, that I would be in town on the 14th. On the 13th at 9 p.m., he messages me this. Hey, can't wait to see ya. Just an update. Dawn is staying at the office with Rav right now. I did not know what the fuck to say, so all I could say is, what should I do? Oh, whatever you want. I was just updating you where...
Vote him off the island.
Dawn was. My place is full at the moment, unfortunately. Texting me hours before I gotta be there that he just sent him to the place I'm staying at.
When Lex was on the phone with Matt, he mentioned that this...
Okay, that was stupid, right? That was stupid. Hey, just got here, grabbing McDonald's, and I'm gonna be back.
Hey, just got here grabbing MC Donald's and I'm a BBK 100.
All right, make sure to get some nuggies.
This year has sucked because so much bad stuff keeps happening to Supermega, which, if you know anything about them, they have had a few controversies in the past. And Matt told...
No. See, he's referencing Leighton stuff there, and as we all know, based on that recent Leighton stream, Leighton's a fucking crazy person. And also, I can speak from personal experience. So, Leighton is crazy, yeah.
Lex that Supermega was his magnum opus and that he would hate if anything happened to it. Magnum opus being a phrase that Matt would use several times when talking about the YouTube channel.
And then he says something insane that he...
No evidence for that whatsoever. No evidence for that whatsoever in any of these videos, and that was that. Nick is not green. Nick, you're pretty green if you're not vetting your sources, buddy.
He would go on to repeat all summer to multiple people. He said to me after I told him about his friend that sexually assaulted me, his friend and employee, he said, Supermega's my magnum opus, and I would hate for something to mess it up. He said that multiple times. I remember I was sitting on like the curb of the parking lot of where I was staying at the time, outside, just like staring, because I never in a million years would have expected my friend Matt, to say something like that to me. It's like when someone says like, hey, your friend assaulted me, that friend happens to be a coworker, can I not see him? And you say, this job is my magnum opus multiple times. There's like, you just like don't care about people.
Multiple friends of his and people in his social circle have talked about how Matt has used this phrase when talking about his channel, despite the fact that it's really not something to be that proud of. Don continued to live and stay at Supermega's office in Los Angeles, even when Lex would come, not something to be that.
What? Okay. It's mostly American Truck Simulator. Who gives a shit? Who gives, like, what is this kind of, what, you think you're better, Nick? Fuck off, bro. We're all just making content to fill the endless hole of people who need their attention filled because they can't fucking sit in silence anymore, you fucking troglodyte. I bet you think your fucking commentary videos are some kind of hard-hitting journalism. It's not. Neither's mine. None of us. None of us. It's popcorn entertainment, bro. Fuck off.
Proud of. Dawn continued to live and stay at Supermega's office in Los Angeles, even when Lex would come to visit. In one instance, she was actually at the Supermega office and had to hide in the bathroom because Dawn showed up unannounced. Months after the fact, Dawn continued—
This is such a weird misinterpretation of the events. This is so fucking bad. Like, he's the way he places it in a context that makes it sound really salacious and crazy. But when you don't watch Lex's video, it sounds like that based on this, right? If you just watch Nick's video, you'd go off believing it. Like, is he retarded? Like, what the fuck? They're able to play video games and talk on a podcast for a living. The fuck you mean?
to hang out around Supermega, and even when they finally let him go, they never told their audience why he was fired. Not only this, but after letting Dawn go—
Why? It's not everybody. Listen, guys, if I do something privately with my business, my coffee business, if I fire someone, I don't need to tell you why I fire them. Okay? If I let someone go, it's probably in their best interest that I don't tell you. It's in their best interest that they don't, like, oh, yeah, we should publicly cancel the guy we just fired. Jesus.
Actually tweeted out to Supermega fans, asking if anyone had a place in Los Angeles for him to stay. And without Matt and Ryan actually making a statement about why Dawn was let go from the company, people really didn't know if there was something bad that happened. A Supermega fan could have responded to Dawn's message and allowed him to stay at their place, not knowing that they have a predator in the same room as them. Lex would then confide in the producer of Supermega, Jim, about being sexually assaulted by Dawn, only to have Jim begin to flirt with her the same night.
Hey, you're misinterpreting that again, all right? They were both fucking drunk. Jim did misinterpret it, and he made a move on Lex, and that is not what he expected. And again, based on what Jim said, he did get a yes, right? He still felt bad about it, and then out of nowhere, Jim reveals to the audience, the internet at home, that he was also sexually assaulted by a man, and that he feels bad that he did the same thing to somebody else, based on what Lex says, right? But, like, are you fucking kidding me? Dollar Store D'Angelo Wallace isn't the brightest bulb in the pack, is he? This is the problem with BreadTube commentary, is that they always, like, poo-poo on guys like me for being, like, really hard, right? But they be really soft, and then shit like this. You get videos like this. You literally can't just say that as a company. That's also true. Yeah, I can't just go around saying whatever the fuck I want on behalf of my business. Especially stuff like that could be slanderous. Yeah, okay. Like,
ended up kissing Lex without her consent, and even bringing her into another room where he kissed her again, right after she explained to him that Dawn sexually assaulted her in Matt's house.
Listen.
Again, that's a complete misinterpretation of the events. It's a complete misinterpretation of the events.
To my sexual assault story, and then makes out with me. Like, at this rate, I'm just kind of stun locked. I had no idea what he's doing. I don't know if there's even any other—
Dude, I can't believe Diesel fired me from Menda Coffee. He even called it his magnum opus.
people in the place. I think there was two other people. I think Matt and Rav were still there. So he like gets up at some point after like putting me in a chokehold a few more times and kissing. Well, he only kissed me a couple times, but he put me in a chokehold for a while and it was very uncomfortable. He like gets up and then goes to the office and he's like, "Come here." I don't even remember thinking anything. I was literally just like confused. And because when he said that, he was in the office, but he was in the closet. And when I came over to him, because I was just fucking, I was like, why in my head I'm thinking, why is this guy just went to the office closet? Like the office where like everybody has their computers and there's like a coat closet and you just go in there and stand in the doorway and give me a kiss again. Like I didn't even.
For some reason, internet people have this kind of entitlement to know everything that happens in a business when it involves content creators. You see a lot of this with VTubers, but it extends everywhere. Yeah, that's true. I kind of don't like that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens with the coffee business that I don't share because there's no reason, really. A lot of it's just really stupid or really just businessy and boring. But like, for example, with something like this, right? We're very like clear on how the business works. Like we did a video explaining how dice manufacturing kind of gyps the customer and stuff like that. We want to be very open about these things so people understand that our coffee is good, right? It's not because I want to be fucking Johnny share everything, right? It's for a deliberate business reason. It's part of our ethics as a business. But this doesn't mean I get to share like my employees, my contracts, all that stuff. That's not for the public to know, right? And we do have contracts and all those things, and I don't share those with you, right? I have contracts with the people that I work for and work with. BreadTube is just liberal commentary channels, right? More like leftist commentary channels, but yeah. I'd say most commentary channels are centrist, and then, like, you'll occasionally have some right-leaning ones, but that's really what BreadTube is. Yeah.
And have, like, a reaction. I just didn't know what the fuck that was.
Months later, Lex and Rav, who is a musician who was friends with Matt and Ryan at the time, went through a series of events.
Rav, who has also done songs with, I believe, either Nick or Ethan, either one of them.
That left them homeless in Los Angeles while trying desperately to find a place to live. A lot of these details about how all of this happened were in Lex's video. Obviously, I wish I could come.
Hey, Diesel, can I live in your coffee business and be of zero use? Sounds great, buddy. Come right over. Harshness and unbiasedness in commentary is necessary to wade through things that are emotionally driven, IMO. Yeah. If we asked nice, would you share? No. No, not if you said pretty please either.
Cover even more, but that's her story to fully tell, and I still insist that you guys check it out. After staying at the Supermega office while trying to find a place, Matt, Ryan, and Jim constantly pressured Lex and Rav to leave their office while downplaying all of the horrible circumstances that led to their homelessness. Lex said she later found out that Matt and
let's be real. Their homelessness was nothing compared. Like I said, I've talked about it, right? Their homelessness is not the same as real homelessness. I don't want to gatekeep being homeless, but it's not.
Ryan were making fun of her and Rav behind their backs about posts that Lex had made about her car being broken into and robbed. Lex and Rav were robbed
twice. All right, listen, honey, Lex. You know, first time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you. Third time, bitch, be smarter. I don't know what to tell you. Odd how Nick and Lex are disparaging Supermega for being white men, despite everyone they cite as allies being white men. Moist teeth. You're talking a lot of sense there.
2 different times while being homeless, keeping their belongings in a car because they had no other choice at the time. And when Lex and Rav tried to explain the situation to Supermega, they went through days of conversations where Matt and Ryan actually became upset at Lex and Rav, telling them that they were rude when staying at their office.
Yeah. Lex did have a home to go back to. She had family. She had a support network. Tons of things. They were couch surfing, not homeless. Yep. They wanted to be in L.A. Lex can work anywhere, right? But Lex wanted to be in L.A. All right? Lex can do her job anywhere. Okay? That's the reality of it. She even admits it in tweets. It's about the social proof of being in LA. You want to make it. Axis. She's not exactly the blackest sister in the room. Until she said it, I had no idea she was black. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care what color her skin is. But it did catch me off guard to see her dropping N-bombs not that long ago.
And claiming that they went about the situation in the best way they could.
So Ryan gets really real with it the next day at 5 p.m. just about. They had to spend a day and a half chewing on this. The way these guys like do group chats is they all go in the office together and say and like play football and like make a plan and like who's doing good cop bad cop ass shit. Very manipulative.
Oh, fuck off. I don't. My brother and I, right? Because we run the coffee business. We both have things we're good at. We're good at different things. Sometimes I'll kick stuff to him. Sometimes he'll kick stuff to me. Right?
Oh. How else do you think they would have had Jim message me with Matt in there? They all work together. Why does Matt need to be in there? Except for a power dynamic. Like, they know what they're doing.
Oh, the power dynamic. It's always the same shit in these stories, dude. Ugh. They complain about being homeless despite just couch surfing, especially since LA and Las Vegas being notable for having underground homeless population. Hey, man, that life that they could have lived is a whole lot different than the one they lived.
Ryan says the next day, I don't think it's about that. It's just we're trying to get our lives together, and we've been nothing but generous to y'all during this time. I think the idea that there are grievances time and time again with our friendship when we've been helping you whenever we can is confusing. It's not a good feeling and overwhelming. especially since this year has been nothing but drama since the jump. Literally nothing to do with me at all, or Rev. I don't care. No one's saying that to me. No one's saying I know you've dealt with a lot. Like they're saying they're only bringing it up.
You're not the fucking main character, lady.
It's like, we've dealt with you. Like Rav just was like, congrats about the bad thing that is good now. And when it gets brought up for us, it's about like, we've been helping you time and time again. And there's still grievances time and time again. It's only been one grievance. It was always the same grievance. It was the same thing that no one listened to me for. And when I tried to talk about it, no one wanted to talk about it. And
oh, really? Because they fired the man who did it. Oh, you think they didn't do anything about it? Oh my God.
now it's a problem, and I'm homeless, sitting in this creepy, weird sex trafficking room, getting told that like we're annoying, basically, that like we have too many.
She's sitting in a cheap hotel room, according to her. I don't know if she is. I swear to God, this bitch must be in like a Holiday Inn, being like, "What a sex trafficking room."
Grievances. I got assaulted, man. Could you guys just like care? Like, why'd you switch up? What happened to?
Oh my God, I've gotten so uncharitable to her. I fucking hate her. I fucking hate her. Listen. There's a good chance that what happened with Dawn is real, but she's just such a bitch.
Keeping him accountable, Ryan. Like, this year's been nothing but drama since the jump. For you!
Lex mentioned that their office was always disgusting with mountains of trash piled up inside of the house, and it was basically a disgusting wreck.
The office is dirty.
Are we sure that Lex is black? Because I've never seen anyone look more white. Like, oh, and then like, oh, now we're bringing up how Lex is living rent free, and she's complaining that the place she's living rent free is dirty, brother. Amethyst, thank you for becoming a gas station attendant.
Often cleaning up maggot-infested pizza boxes. I'm doing stuff that maids get paid to do on my free time that I'm...
You are living rent-free, bitch. You're living rent-free. And you're bitching about cleaning up after somebody else? That's the least you could do when you're living rent-free in somebody's fucking office. If you are so... See, this is why words don't mean shit anymore. People use words without knowing the proper meaning. Wasn't that her trash? Yeah, some of it was.
Not working. Yo, just heard y'all were taking another vacation. Wonder if there are any updates on the expected move-out date? Hope the search has been going good.
And there have been several people bringing this up after the fact, saying that in their time at the Super Megaplex, it was just as disgusting as Lex would explain. All in all, it felt like Lex...
Who? I'm not an owl, Nick. Show me. Show me. You know what those things are? That's called evidence. Those things back up your reporting. It makes you good at your job. You want to do commentary? Hey, man, listen, I know Ethan Ralph was bitching and moaning about how commentary is all like beat journalists now. There's a fucking reason. It's because idiots like you get on camera and just talk mad shit with no evidence. You can't just say that. You can't say, oh, who these people said it. Who? Who said it? Are they reasonable? Are they believable? Is anything they're saying completely, like, verifiable? Do you have proof? Screenshots? Anything? Oh, crazy. It wouldn't ruin your video at all. In fact, it would make it look better if the place was decrepit and disgusting, because it would back up the terrible living conditions that Lex describes. But you don't.
Rav were a situation that
You're
Matt and Ryan wanted
nothing. Shit, Nick. Fuck you. Fuck you. You know, this fucking guy would sit around on Twitter talking about how somebody like me is like, you know, like contributing to, I don't know, fucking conservative talking points or some dumb bullshit like that. He is such a fucking weak-willed piece of shit to do stuff like this. You know how fucking easy it is to show evidence for things? Holy shit. You know how much time I spend talking to people, verifying that they're telling the truth, that they're not liars? Hey, guys, you know that if I didn't sit down and actually learn about Azothan, that asshole would still be like Mr. Victim #1 for Illuminati. Holy shit. Like, accusations are not evidence. Hello. You know who has that belief? Flamenco. And Flamenco likes Shotokan. Okay, so not great intellectual geniuses that you're associating with by doing this shit. Fucking, for the love of God, Nick, you have the time, the resources, the energy, the youth, the ability, the freedom, the editorial freedom to find information. You have connections. Use them. Holy shit. You got all these connections to make this video that's bad. Imagine if you made a video that's good. Crazy.
Thing to do with, and it seemed like they were constantly downplaying their situation while also trying to nudge them towards leaving the office.
So I suffered because of having to rush from knowing I was going to be asked, instead of them just either giving me a date to leave by or asking me like, do you know when you can be gone by? Instead, they would just say, you guys on a vacation again? Insinuating that we're doing it only for fun. It was
okay,
never.
Well, they were being soy LA people. All right.
Like, maybe they don't want to be around us or something. It was
Flam called. He wants his terrible opinions back.
always an us problem, and I think that's why I still gaslight myself about everything. How do you get someone to talk to you when they...
I am so tired of hearing the words gaslight, power dynamic, all of that. I'm so done. Rats make me go crazy too. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. They locked me in a rubber room with rats, and the rats make me crazy. I hate this. I hate this. You know, I put a lot of work. Fucking Nani, amazing mod, fucking puts in a lot of work to finding shit too. I talk to people. I let people vent to me about the worst shit in the world. And I get all this stuff for videos. And I get it. It's been a while since I put out a video. Be patient. I'm going to have something soon. But, like, you know how easy it is to back this shit up? You don't need to be perfect. You just need to put in the effort. That's it. I'm not asking for you to be New York Times. I'm not asking for Pulitzer Prize winning. You're not Hunter S. Thompson. But Jesus Christ, would it kill you to show a screenshot?
refuse to. You just can't. And when that person or people are responsible of the like land that all your worldly possessions are in that haven't been stolen, you kind of have to like work with them. And they were refusing to work with us. There's a point in time we get into town, we just don't have access to the Plex. There's at least over a week of time where we have no stuff. I can't get my computer. I can't get my extra clothes that I have in California.
This is so fucking annoying, right? Like, it just annoys me because there are people who are really homeless. And I know I talked about this on another stream, but there are people who are really homeless who don't even get the ability to worry about their computer. Okay, they need to worry about getting shoes on their feet. Okay, because they're so fucking cold and hungry.
Anything. I just can't function, and because he's talking to Alex Ernst. He's making a video with Alex Ernst today. Sorry, you don't get your clothes. I haven't read back on this particular conversation since then, but it's so cruel. Like, we're homeless sitting in a hotel reading this.
Nobody is allowed to crash at my office or place ever for as long as I live. That's it. Nope. Never gonna happen.
Like, all this peaceful talk Rav does is met with a text back from Ryan saying, "We were told that y'all are still upset with how we handled the Dawn situation. Is this not true? If the problems you're talking about aren't that and are just..."
Diesel! Would you get Hunter S. Thompson tattooed on your chest? Like people get their kids or wife tattooed? I would.
An off vibe, then yeah, we've caught it too. Whether it's standoffishness we're getting from y'all acting in a rude manner when invited to my birthday, or what seemed like directed negative sarcasm in a recent group chat, it's difficult to not expect there is antagonism behind some of these things. The fact that he can say, like, even bring up the...
Sad to hear that a homeless person couldn't drive their Jeep around LA to pick up extra clothing, makeup, and a fucking $1,000 computer.
The Dawn situation. I had not talked about Dawn in typed words the whole time. So I remember when I wrote this, I was like...
There is no world where any of you crazy people can be inside my walls or clean up my basement. My basement is clean and my walls are already filled with rats, okay?
Oh, so I could just show this to anyone now, right? Like, I could just show, he said it, it's real. Like, it's not just like some shit that I'm like saying in Insular and then there's no other proof of someone else. I remember feeling a weird amount of relief when he wrote that and sent it. I was like, you're so mad, you like fucked yourself.
Lex explains in her video that really all she wanted from Supermega was for them to make a post about why they were letting Don go after so much time, so other people don't become victims of him. But Matt and Ryan never did that. They never ever explained to anyone publicly why Don left the company. Not only that, but Ryan even...
Why? You don't need to explain. You don't... That's such bullshit. I don't need to tell you why I fire somebody from my fucking business, you fucking idiot. That's not you're not privileged to know that information. I mean, if I let somebody go, if somebody retires, none of that needs to be something you know. They're there one day and they're gone the next. Businesses are not like that. It doesn't need to be public. That's insane. That's an insane take. Never run a business. You're not qualified for it. You're a moron.
Liked a photo that
You're a fucking idiot. You're an absolute fucking moron. Fucking go to school. Get an actual education, you fucking idiot. Fucking stupid. I'm literally losing brain cells. I can't articulate how much that fucking infuriates me.
Don posted on Twitter of some art he made after knowing about the sexual assault and letting him go. Again, there are countless more details that I urge you to check out in Lex's video, but let's keep moving on. After this video was posted, ex-fans of Supermega on Reddit and Twitter began to post about Lex's video, and they very quickly took Lex's side in the situation, bringing up even more cases of Matt and Ryan's disgusting behavior, as well as Don and Jim. It seems like
Okay. Where? Show it.
a lot of fans were already a bit weary of Supermega after a number of smaller controversies they've been in over the past few years, but this by far is the biggest one. In the
All right, we're not going to show it. All right, great job.
time since, it feels like people are beginning to put equal blame on the two guys.
Diesel going low tier god on stream. The more I do drama streams, the edgier I get. I can't help it. I just can't. You know, like I'm slipping.
But at first it seemed like people were definitely trying to shit on Matt a lot more in this situation, and I really don't feel like that's a fair thing to say. I think
Yeah. You should be shitting on Don.
Ryan is just as at fault here as Matt is.
Oh, you should fucking play in traffic. You should play in traffic, you piece of shit. Fuck you. I fucking hate you. You're such a piece of shit. Fuck you.
In the situation, they are both owners of their YouTube channel. They are both the bosses of the people who are a part of this story. And Ryan,
oh my god, you're a piece of shit. I fucking hate you. I hate this guy. I hate this guy. This guy's a piece of shit. I fucking hate this guy. I hate him. I thought I disliked Ethan. This guy's worse.
may as well have been the one person that Matt would listen to in this situation, but he decided not to. There are multiple texts from Ryan downplaying the severity of the situation, and I think him and Matt are both pretty despicable human beings for letting any of this happen. This is Supermega's subreddit. If you kind of start going through the top posts of this past week, you can see a lot of their previous supporters are definitely not interested in supporting them anymore. A former fan of theirs says this is what constitutes as a magnum opus you're willing to push your friend's sexual assault aside for. There's this guy on their Patreon who used to only ever comment, "I'm gay," and this kind of encapsulates what a lot of people were feeling about the situation. Don is a groomer and a rapist. If you found out about that and didn't immediately cut him out of your life, you're just fucking evil. I don't know what to tell you, let alone how you handled it.
Who cares? This is like extra tangential shit. This doesn't need to be there. Well, this doesn't add anything to your evidence whatsoever, Nick, at all. I want evidence that's new, not you repeating it. Hey guys, let's go check what the Reddit has to say. Okay.
And treated Rav and Lex. I can thoroughly say I hate you guys. I absolutely despise what you've become. Public apologies now. I'm so unbelievably serious. This will be my final post on your dog shit motherfuckers page. I used to look forward to commenting "I'm gay." It was a fun ritual born out of—
I used to look forward to commenting "I'm gay." This is what am I living? I'm living in a cartoon. I'm living in a cartoon.
Ryan's proclivity to do so in early Supermega episodes is a bit. I'm gay myself and always enjoyed the irreverent, but still, at the end of the day, respectful way you joked about homoerotic content and whatnot. This is my final post. My final "I'm gay." Now it's just "I'm disgusted."
My final "I'm gay." This is a copy pasta waiting to happen. This is my final "I'm gay." I used to look forward to commenting "I'm gay." It was a fun ritual born out of Ryan's proclivity to do so in early Supermega episodes as a funny bit. I am gay myself, and I've always enjoyed irreverence. But still, at the end of the day, the respectful way you joked about homoerotic content and whatnot, this is my final post. My final "I'm gay." Now I'm just disgusted. That's insane. What?
Done what you've done and have a real come to Jesus moment about all this over the next few years. Otherwise, there's no hope for you, and I hope you rot in a ditch. And if we go to this post about Lex's tweet explaining that she made this video about Supermega, and you have a lot of people who are upset about it, rightfully so. This person says,
"Man, if only he showed the tweet."
"Fuck me, that is awful and disgusting. I don't even know what to say. I'm so disappointed. All right, time to pull out the ukulele." Matt is definitely canceling his last two shows, and this is referring to the fact that Matt Watson was actually on tour at the time this video came out, and when all of this came out, he actually tweeted about the situation, surprisingly, and this is what he said. He said,
"I can't believe this Supermega drama turned a guy straight."
With what's being said right now, which is a very weird way to explain what happened, you hid the sexual assault of a friend.
Okay, Nick, that's a great point. Here's the problem, though, is that you didn't mention any of the evidence either. You did the same thing, but for your friend, okay? You're doing the same thing, just on the opposite side of the aisle. I used to look forward to commenting "Buy Mana Potion," But ever since you didn't wash your hands, this is my final post. My final code D10. Now I'm not going to man a potion using D10 at checkout. Cat, that was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Friend of yours and kept the rapist around even though you knew that he sexually assaulted someone in your house. Hey guys, with what's being said right now, I don't think it's appropriate for me to do a concert. I don't think so. So unfortunately, I'm going to cancel the last 2 shows and I'll have a response as soon as possible. This was at 2:35 p.m. On the Thursday that the video came out. Currently, it is 10:53 p.m. The next night. A lot of people even came into the subreddit to roast Matt.
Where does I'm disgusted fall on the sexuality spectrum?
Watson's music career. One person said, there's one last thing I want to share before leaving the sub. I did not care for Matt Watson's music career. I'm pretty sure this is a Family Guy.
I do not care for Nick is not Green's music career. How about that? Let's be real. That's not much of an own. I'll admit I've had better ones tonight, Nick. If you do happen to see this, you probably won't, but who knows?
Reference, but it's still, you know, let's look at the comments. I always thought everyone was just pretending to like his music. As someone who paid to go to one of his shows, I agree. Thank you. I always got downvoted in the sub for calling his music trash. Obviously, none of this has an effect on how he
I deeply loathe these people. Nani, that's exactly where I am.
treats people, but of course, if his art sucks, let's fucking dunk on him. He sucks. Plus, the way he sucked up to other musicians felt like he was trying to piggyback off their clout. You know, this is just giving you an idea of where the Supermega fans are at this point. And there were a lot of
Who cares? Who cares? This doesn't add anything to the discussion.
questions about Justin, who was a former editor for Supermega, and Kelly, who was a former channel artist for Supermega, also being a part of this. But since then, Lex actually explained that Justin and Kelly didn't know about the sexual assault, and they left when they learned what Matt and Ryan did. And since then, Justin and Kelly have both taken Supermega out of their bios. And it really did seem like they were two of the people that were closer to Matt and Ryan. So to know that they were willing to immediately disconnect and separate themselves from Supermega.
Did you collab with Nick is Not Green? Me and Nick would never be in the same room together, and if we were, I would say mean things to him. I'd say it to his face. I've said rude shit to YouTubers to their face before, but you've probably heard about him through his weird hot takes, right? Because lefty commentary tends to get in beef with righty commentary. Think D'Angelo Wallace and Turkey Tom.
It says a lot about Matt and Ryan's character. It says a whole lot of stuff about them. I will say that Jim actually still does have Supermega in his bio as of posting this video. And my favorite post right here says, rape apologist gets what he deserves. And it shows...
Nick, what is this? This video could have stopped already. If this is all you're doing here, just stop the video. Who do you think Nick should box in a ring? Moist Teeth, I'm glad you asked. Hey, I know I'm irrelevant, and I keep saying I'll fight people, but motherfucker, I want to fight a guy, all right? I want to fight a guy. And Nick, I would righteously punch you in the face, okay? I would do it. I'd do it. I would love it. Yeah, so at night, I actually turn into Nick is Not Green and have horrible takes, right? Right now is when I have good takes. Just wait, Diesel. One day, guys, I'm going to be in a fucking ring, and I'm going to fucking kick ass. I hate this guy. I hate this guy so much. He's such a piece of shit. I bet he thinks he's the greatest guy ever. I bet he thinks he's really moral and righteous. I hate that. All right? Jesus.
Matt getting the absolute shit beaten out of him. Let's just let it play a couple more times. We can keep watching it. I don't think anyone minds letting this loop on repeat. We could just let this...
Oh, Nick, you wanna do that? You wanna do that? I could fuck you. I'd kick the shit out of you. Okay, I'd fucking kick the shit out of you. I'd fucking destroy you in a ring. You fucking Twinkie little boy. All right. All right. I'll even come down to your weight. I'll come down to your weight. You know how fucking, like, shredded I'll be at your weight? I'll destroy you. I'll destroy you. I'd punch you so hard that you wouldn't be able to have children. It would be incredible. Oh, man. Listen. You know what? This would... better start studying, all right? Because I'm going to fucking knock you onto the floor like Dad knocked Matt Watson on the floor.
Go. If you want me to do this for the rest of the video, I could. I know.
Oh, you're a piece of shit. I fucking hate you. A little guy? Yeah, Nick. You little guy. POV, FPS Diesel calls you a Twinkie little boy.
The boys messed up, but please understand, Supermega's Matt's magnum opus. And you have another post from here by an 8+ year fan of Supermega.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares what these Redditors have to think? Diesel, you are literally beefy. Stop bullying twinks. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how you really feel. I can't just say slurs.
It says, they've been here since the Syndigo days, a channel that Matt and Ryan used to be a part of, and I just can't do this shit anymore. Time and time again, Supermega has revealed to be continually doing dumb shit, and their content isn't really that funny anymore.
Is there anything about him you do like? I hate every single fiber of his being. On a molecular level, I dislike and hate Nick is not green. Every single time he breathes is another breath that could have been taken by a much more valuable individual. Nick is not green has nothing to offer society. He is an absolute moron, and mongoloid, a lacking intellectual with such a smooth brain. This twinky little boy needs to learn his place. He has no redeeming qualities. None. Not a single redeeming quality. I'm out. 8+ year fan. Diesel wants to say slurs. Oh my god. Fuck you, Nick. Fuck you. Fuck you. You listen, Nick, if you see this, they're gonna call me racist. Fuck you, bitch. I got melanin. Fuck you. Fuck you. I've been Puerto Rican since the day I was born. I get it, man. Oh, Latino. I get to choose what race you are. Fuck you, Nick. Fuck you. You want to chat shit? The only thing I want to hear from you is you training. So that way I can kick the shit out of you in a fucking ring. Fuck you. I fucking hate this guy. I hate him. I hate him. I hate this guy. I hate him. I hate him on such a fucking fundamental level. Every single fiber of my being is angry. Ooh.
For Matt was playing live, and I almost got to take it, but I'm glad I didn't. After all the awful stuff that Lex went through and that shit that he allegedly said about Daniel, I'm really disgusted. And what this fan is referencing there is a close friend of Ryan and Matt who used to be a part of this.
2D trash. Thank you for becoming a gas station attendant.
This channel, Syndigo. Daniel was the third member of this YouTube channel.
I would love to see Smaggle versus Flamenco. That would be so funny.
He ended up taking his life a number of years ago. And despite the fact that this seems to be a big turning point in Matt and Ryan's career, and it seems to be something that affected them even to this day, Lex and, as we'll learn in the future, other former employees of Supermega have claimed that Matt had made a lot of jokes about what happened to Daniel, and even called him a coward at some point for what he did. In Lex's video, one of the details she mentioned that wasn't as relevant to the main story was that Matt actually cheated on a long-term girlfriend of his very recently, within the past year, and not only did that, but cheated on the girl that...
Who cares about this, Nick? Who fucking cares? This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Who gives a shit about him being a cheater or not? I've been Puerto Rican since the day I was born. Well, I didn't think you turned Puerto Rican during the moons after puberty.
He cheated on his girlfriend with a sex worker by the name of Morg Pie, as we came to find out. Morg Pie ended up going on a stream and talking about her experience with Matt Watson after seeing what Lex had to say in her video, and someone from the Supermega subreddit put together a stream recap of what she was talking about. I will link that below, or I'm sure you can find it on her Twitch stream if you want to watch the entire thing. But let's talk about what she said here.
Why is Nick so Green's door handle so tiny? That's a really great question.
Pie says that Matt started talking to her in the DMs. He was flirtatious and didn't mention a girlfriend until they had been DMing consistently. Matt and his girlfriend at the time were together for about 4 years, I think. He started texting Morg Pie about being in a really rough place mentally. He texted her that he was upset because his friends found out that he was cheating on his ex.
All right. So now he's mentioning like how Matt was a cheater. Okay? Like this has nothing to do with anything. Not only does this have no relation to anything, this is just a character assassination of Matt, right? Now, if someone's a serial cheater, if someone's social repose, yeah, maybe we can talk about cheating on a public forum. Otherwise, who cares? This is not for the public. You know, Jesus Christ. I thought this was about assault. Yeah, exactly. What?
Who goes by the name Annabelle with a girl by the name of Zeph. Zeph is actually a pretty popular musician.
The worst part about this drama is it ruined the throat pie chick I beat off to. Klebo, that was... what a base statement that is.
Who Matt ended up dating, and if you go to her most recent post, you can see that comments on this post have been limited.
Why is she, like, yassified? That's scary. I'm scared.
The top comment saying magnum opus. It at least seems like up to this...
Klebo is, he draws porn, just in case anybody knows. Klebo's very based.
point that Zeph and Matt both knowingly cheated on Annabelle. Matt told Morg that he confessed his feelings to Zeph and then kissed her when he was drunk, but Morg Pie later found out from his ex that he had been having a secret affair with Zeph for a long time. Morg and Matt's texting turned into sexting on August 3rd.
Who is this throw pie chick for educational purposes?
And Morg Pie wasn't under the impression that he was with Zeph at the time that this happened.
Interesting statement. I'm a visual learner.
But now she's unsure. Lex in the chat said that Matt was on a 2-week break with Zeph during this period. So it seems like there was a chance that he may have cheated on her with Morg Pie, but it also seems like there was some sort of 2-week break where Matt began doing this. Morg Pie flew into LA on September 8th and hooked up with Matt Watson. Before they hooked up, she asked Matt if he was going to be in a relationship with Zeph, and Matt said no. The second night she's in LA, she stayed at his house, and Matt takes her to the Supermega Plex, which is the dumb name that they came up with to talk about their office. The office that had all the trash in it. The office that they tried kicking 2 homeless people out of who were friends of theirs.
Get the fuck out of here, you fucking self-righteous fucking... In the immortal words of Keemstar.
The second night they hooked up, Matt told Morg Pie that he was bragging to all his friends about hooking up with her. Seems like Matt Watson is a 14-year-old boy, and he looks like it too. He specifically mentioned telling Justin about hooking up with Morg Pie, but he didn't want her to tell anyone that she hooked up with him. Morg Pie confirms that the Super Megaplex is filthy and told Matt that they need to hire a maid because of how gross it was, and someone made a joke about her moving to LA to clean the Super Megaplex, and Matt ran with it and started earnestly telling her that she should move to LA. Matt ghosted Morg Pie after she asked him to hang out on September 10th, but texted her to ask her to remove a tweet where she posted a picture wearing his shirt on her personal Twitter. She texted Matt to confront him about ghosting her after sleeping with her, asking if he was still interested in her and if he'd want to see her again if she came back to LA. Matt responded saying, quote, "I would love to hang out again, but I'm going to be in a relationship with Zeph, so it would have to be just as friends." After the second night they hooked up, she mentioned that he stopped reaching out to her and any contact was made by her first, which he eventually stopped responding to altogether. Matt's friends started messaging her.
Who cares about this? This is so fucking unnecessary.
And again was let go without former idolizing people you don't know on the internet. She expressed major support for Lex and Layden, who we will get to next. Layden was a former merch designer for Supermega who was let go just a few months ago, and again was let go without Supermega.
14-year-old boy pop me kettle, yeah.
Actually saying anything to their audience. Layden is a friend of Lex's and was one of the only people who she truly could confide in during that time when they both were associated with Supermega. Layden was also the only...
God, Nick is such a bottom. This is why twinks should be told they're not valid, not good boys.
only openly gay employee that worked at Supermega and very quickly became a, I guess, punchline for Supermega over multiple months that Layden was working with them. Layden says that Jim does no work in the office. Layden had to carry his workload during his time at the Supermegaplex. He hangs out to make the boys laugh, micromanages other people's work, and that's it. He mentioned that Justin also does not like Jim. Again.
Okay, so Jim is a producer. His entire job is managing. That's it. Him bitching about micromanaging is him bitching about him doing his job. Just putting that out there.
And Jim being the freak who kissed Lex after she told him that...
I want that twink obliterated in the least sexy way possible. Oh my god.
She was sexually assaulted. Can I put a photo of him up on the screen? It's literally what he looks like.
What are you doing, Nick? What are you doing, Nick? Holy shit, you're a piece of shit. You're such a piece of shit. Oh man, dude, I can't stay at 110% this entire stream, but Twink is not green really needs to learn his place. All right.
Said his working relationship with them went to hell after last summer's creator clash. Matt and Ryan would apparently make jokes about Daniel's suicide at the office, specifically towards Layden, who they knew had a history of suicide attempts and suffers from BPD. The boys would joke about Layden coming in to shoot up the office because he was the only one in the Super Megaplex who took their jokes seriously. Layden told Matt and Ryan about giving a free book to a gay kid his mother knew who had attempted suicide after being outed, and they refused to take it seriously, basically making a bunch of jokes. After Layden got upset, Ryan left the room to go scroll on his phone while Matt attempted to blanket the situation to get Layden to stop being upset. In the last 2.5 years, Layden says the boys made around 5 jokes he can remember where the punchline was Daniel killing himself. In August 2021, on his first day full time, Matt yelled at Layden that he was going to show him his dick and balls since he would probably see it as...
Oh man, I don't. His name is now Twink is not green. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them.
some point anyways, and then flashed Layden, which everyone in the office laughed at, even though Layden found it disturbing. Matt and Ryan used the N-word with the hard R often around the office. He mentioned how when you join Supermega as an employee, there's a joke that gets told by Matt and Ryan that Chuck E. Cheese has a middle name and the punchline is the N-word. Seems like a funny joke. Ryan would also write the N-word on a sticky note, hard R and...
What this is insane. This guy is just reading a Reddit. What are you doing?
all, and would put it on Justin's computer as he edited to shock him, but would destroy the note if he saw Layden come anywhere nearby. This happened multiple times. The full Extreme Drunk Mario Kart video that Supermega put up on their channel, it has footage so bad that they could never release the unedited version. He didn't really elaborate on this as much as I hoped, but he did mention that at some point Matt and Ryan measured each other's bare assholes in front of Layden because Layden was while working for Supermega, as stated by Lex, triggering for him, and after literally any
all right, so this is all the stuff
where they had a pop-up shop.
All the stuff that Layton, was talking about in between his rants of crying, right? Layton didn't write the pop-up shop apology. Matt and Ryan did and forced it on him. Matt and Ryan also frequently check the Reddit and make fun of angry people on here. Compare it to r/rant grumps. Yeah, there's like anti-communities for all these things. Yeah, but exactly. I don't care.
There's a lot more information on it, but Layden ended up...
I need the TikTok voice. This is a post about Layton's time at Supermega. Layton didn't like his job because his bosses made bad jokes.
Having to post an apology, taking the blame for something that Supermega approved at this event. And if we go to the comments, someone says, Layden spoke to Justin today and says that we should give him the benefit of the doubt. He was the kindest person at Supermega and he has a good heart. Layden also asked to give him encouragement in him creating his own content. He said that, quote, Matt and Ryan do not deserve Justin, and emphasized that Justin's a young man that was manipulated by Matt and Ryan. Yeah, that was a lot, right? This shit sucks. All I really want out of...
Yeah, this video does suck. Twink is not green.
This video and out of this situation is for the victims in the story to be heard and to have a voice. I think the fact that Lex went through hours and hours of shooting to put together this video to talk about her experience really speaks to just how much effort victims have to put into their story in order to...
Ironically, all that effort was her undoing, but... You know what, Twink is not green? I understand you come from a biased location, all right?
To, I guess, alleviate some of the fear that their story will not be taken seriously. This is, of course, something that happened to Lex in the past and something that followed her into this...
I don't see a lot of people questioning Madison from LMG, from Linus Tech Tips. I don't see a lot of people questioning that. But there's a reason people are questioning it, because it's weird to add in all these extra things to your story. It doesn't add evidence. You deliberately leave out evidence by giving so much of it, right? You're really, I don't want to say it's like astroturfing, but you're just covering up what could actually be the real story. Like, there's no reason for you to talk about Matt being a cheater. Like, why did that have to be in here?
Situation where, unfortunately, Matt and Ryan didn't only drop the ball, but I don't even know what word I have to explain what kind of people we are talking about here. These are people who have worked with a lot of the creators that you guys know and love. These are people who have had the power to have an audience that was as tight-knit as Supermega's audience. They had a lot of people who had their back through a lot of shit that Supermega went through. And to have all of that turn into so many people being disrespected, so many boundaries being crossed, I'm going to follow the story. I'm going to...
You're going to follow the story? Okay, yeah. I really blew up in your face, Twink is not green, but go right ahead.
Talk about what Matt and Ryan say in response to this. I'm going to talk about the controversies that come forward, and the reason I want to do that is because they're not shutting it down this time. I think it's time for...
Oh, yeah, you want to hold them accountable, right? Okay, I'll hold you accountable, Twink is not green. Don't you fucking worry, you fucking self-righteous bitch.
To be held accountable, and I think it's time for people to take some real action on creators who continually take advantage of the people around them and the people they hire. The people...
Don't get me wrong. I'm so annoyed with how a lot of creators act. Right, I've ranted about it on streams before, but this guy is exactly the self-righteous kind of terrible fucking reporting that is the issue with reporting these days. This is horrible. Yeah, and then he says victims and then doesn't give evidence to that, right? So they would be counting Layton as a victim, and then based on this video, I guess Morgue Pie is the victim, even though she was the jilted side woman that there was a one-night stand with. Hello?
That they choose to work with, the people that they choose to put in this position where they get to be the boss. They get to do whatever they want in a situation, regardless of whether or not they have someone who has done some very disgusting behavior staying and living at their place. Since then, Supermega has actually fallen below 1 million subscribers on YouTube. They were just hovering above 1 million for a very long time because they were...
Yeah. I saw that actually, where your homie that you're in a band with and his girlfriend were doing a pack watch while high. Yeah, I saw that. So I am aware. I don't know if you're aware, but not a good look.
Weren't gaining many fans. They don't have it anymore. That's all for the video today. Please support.
If she just made a video about Dawn, it wouldn't have been a huge cash cow for content for her friends. Yeah, exactly.
Lex in this time. I cannot stress enough just how hard it would be to be at the center of this whole situation, and she deserves all the respect in the world for being able to stand up to whatever the fuck this is. So yeah, I think that's it.
That's what a horrible video. What a
Watch
horrible
her
fucking
video. I'm gonna link it in the description. If anything, just leave a supportive or nice comment. I'm sure that she would really appreciate that. Cool. That's it.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. You're such a piece of shit. You're such a piece of shit. Oh, man. I don't like you. Angry. I'm mad. I'm hopping mad. Oh, man. Ooh. So guys, after this, Nick made a second video. Bum bum bum. Pork Pie definitely isn't a victim, because even in this video, Nick admits she knew there was a girlfriend before the relationship became sexual. So while the dude's an asshole, she's a homewrecker. Diesel's going goblin mode. So if you think that was who said journalism is dead? It's dead and YouTubers killed it. Nick, excuse me, Twink is not green, took it out back and shot it in the head. So. All right. Supermega's response and what we learned.
Hey everyone, so a few days ago I made a video about a friend of mine by the name of Lex putting out a video about her experience with Supermega and 2 of their employees, including a sexual assault that took place at Matt Watson's house. I would watch that video first, if you haven't, or else this one's not going to really make that much sense.
Don't worry, your original video made no sense.
Again, this is going to be a video that's not the normal kind of stuff we talk about, but I did talk about on Saturday how I was going to make a follow-up to this video, and I want to stick to my word, so let's talk about it. Since my last video, a response from Supermega and one of their employees has come out, and the public perception of this story is much different than it was a couple days ago. Not only that, but my personal coverage of the story has caused Matt and several of his fans to say false things about me. So I want to clear up some...
Okay. I am so excited to see this, because we get the benefit, guys, of 3 weeks hindsight, okay? Oh my god, 1 hour. Oh, man. Nani, I didn't even see that. Oh, man. Oh, shit. Well, it ain't Pulitzer Prize winning journalism, that's for sure, baby. Because then it wouldn't be so fucking long.
questions and comments that have been thrown my way, and
this is unhinged petty crap, but I despise how he constantly says, by the name of, whenever he refers to someone. I hate everything about this person. Twink, take off that damn hat. Who do you think you are?
to try to address them in a way that I personally think is fair. One of the reasons I wanted to make this video is that on Matt Watson's response video, he claimed that close friends of Layden were suddenly using Lex's video to capitalize off of her story.
A lot of people, mainly Layton and his close friends, have used this as an opportunity to capitalize off of what was initially someone's story of sexual assault.
That's true. That's true. That's 100% true. That's exactly what the fuck is going on here. Okay, I don't know how you could look at it another way, but I'm sure Twink is not green is going to try and prove us otherwise.
It seems like the story lost its plot and quickly devolved into a dog pile.
It did. It still has completely lost the plot. And now it looks like that there is some shenanigans going
on me and Ryan.
And because of this, I want to be clear about why I made this video. I said it in the first video, and I'll say it again. I wanted Lex's story to be told. That's my priority. I was never once told by Layden to make a video in any of the situation. I've had zero contact with him.
Okay. So you've had zero contact with him. Okay, that's interesting. There's plenty of tweets that show otherwise. Please see the tweet from earlier that definitely does show otherwise. Actually, Twink is not green. You might have forgot. So I'm gonna do us all the favor.
Not a close friend of Layden.
I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, Twink is not green. Sounds like a really cool fan base. They constantly defends two white dudes who've have a horrible reputation behind closed doors. Oh, in response to a tweet from Layton. It's almost like you guys hung out in the same posses. Guys, here's the thing. YouTubers, they get in a room together, right? So let's say Leighton, he's friends with Ethan. Ethan brings along Leighton. They sit down in a conversation. Leighton starts lamenting about how bad Supermega is. I'm not saying that exact thing did happen, but to say that it never went from Leighton to Ethan to Nick is stupid, because I hear about things that are 4 people removed from me. Do you realize that I've talked to people who have like tangential relationships to Too Mad, and I find out things about Too Mad that way? Like, dude, it's not that hard to make a connection here, Nick. Hello, you have to actually fight this claim, right? And you can't just say, I didn't talk to him, I didn't do it. Bro, you're in a band with somebody who's homies with him. I could, guys, do you realize that me doing this stream, I could see Twink is Not Green sitting down and doing like a whole takedown and talking about how I'm a piece of shit and shit like that. I can see it. I can see it in my head. Don't do it, Nick. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
I've only hung out with him a couple of times, and it was always in a social setting.
I've only hung out with him a couple times, and it was only in a social setting. Okay, crazy. Let's talk about Slazo again for a second. Here I am at a YouTuber party, right? I've told this story where Bookie is hitting on another YouTuber's wife, saying that her pussy smells like roses, right? This was that party. I was at that party, and guess who shows up at this party? I'm Alex. What is I'm Alex known for? Being one of the main people behind that claim. I'm sitting down at a party, right? Alex and I are casual, friendly, right? I wouldn't say we were friends, we were acquaintances, right? He'd probably say we're friends, but that's just because, you know, he's a social climber person. So here I am. I'm sitting under a light on a porch. The pool is in front of me. I'm sitting on one of those long chairs, right? I have another person next to me who's also involved with the situation, right? And another guy is standing on one of those, it's like a banner. He's leaning on a banner that works on one of those like porch covers, right? To protect you from the rain. And Alex is wearing a Gucci sweater that has a green tiger on it, right? I'm see all these weird details I'm giving? It's because I remember it very vividly, right? Now, I'm Alex is sitting there telling us about how he was best friends with Slazo, but how Slazo was always so weird, and how he would always do these things, and how it was just so heartbreaking and wretching. And the reason I tell you this, chat, is that when people hang out together, they talk. Sometimes they talk about tea, right? So you're telling me you were hanging out with Leighton. Leighton's a jilted fan, a jilted employee. You have Lex, who's a jilted employee. You're telling me you were hanging out in a social setting where both of those two people could have met, and they never talked about it? Now, I know a thing about YouTubers, and it's that YouTubers love to talk about people's bullshit behind the scenes. Water cooler talk happens in every industry. YouTubers do it too. Why? Because they're young. Why else do they do it? Oh, because they've only had to high school, and from that, they became famous, so they have a stuck in high school mentality. They sit around and they talk about these things. They lament about it. They embellish. You're telling me that never came up in those social settings? Put a drink in Leighton. Maybe drink or two. Get him a little high. I'm sure he's going to be saying all kinds of things about Supermega. All right? And Leighton's so emotional. I bet you he's crying at these social settings. Right? Oh no. And then they did that thing to Lex, and Lex is so sweet. How could they do these things to her? Says Leighton at a social event. These things happen. Okay? YouTubers are young, dumb, and lacking in cum. I was just curious. What's your zodiac sign, Diesel? I'm an Aquarius. But to say that it never... Look, you've met him at social situations. That's what you do at social situations. You talk about tea. It's like a game of telephone where everyone's mentally ill.
Was preparing her story, I was given permission by her to cover it. It was never something that I suggested to Lex, but when she mentioned it, I decided to share her story because she's a friend of mine. I'm not trying to capitalize off of my friend's sexual assault. I never monetize videos like these, and I don't believe that these videos are posed as like great advertisements for my channel. I do not.
Are you sure about that?
have a secret agenda to my videos. I own 100% of my channel, and I have 0 employees.
I own 100% of my channel. What, you got stakeholders in this? You got shareholders?
To affect my posts. Covering serious stories is not something I enjoy doing, and when Matt insinuates that I was just told by his ex-merch designer to make this video about Supermega, I can't help but feel like he's also trying to discredit other stories that I've told in the past. The stress of like talking publicly about the pain that a friend of mine feels, especially when so many people are discounting her story, it's not a fun thing to do. I'm not like having a great time over here spending 2 videos in a week.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You did that video, Nick, right? And I see that look in your eyes. You felt like you got a righteous own. All right? You played that clip of Matt getting punched in the face by Dad over and over. You felt you had a righteous dunk. Okay? I know what it's like to have a righteous dunk. All right? I get it. It feels great to have that W. All right? Feels great. But you and I both know what that feeling's like. Okay? So don't even say that you didn't feel a little bit proud when you put out that video. Because you did. Because we all do. I do. We all do.
Trying to talk about the shit that they did. My intention with this video was only to tell Lex's story, and I will say, I do have some...
Yo, okay, your intention was only to tell Lex's story. That's crazy because a majority of that video, as we just watched, chat, was not dedicated to Lex's story.
Issues with the way I covered the story on Saturday. I do regret taking focus...
And my birthday is January 27th. Thank you for asking.
away from Lex's story to add context that I initially thought was necessary, but in hindsight, I regret including it, and I wish to correct that in today's video. Regardless, I find it pretty disgusting that Matt would spend 45 minutes trying to show how unfair this treatment has been for him, but then he claims without any evidence that I just made my video because his disgruntled ex-employee told...
Here's the thing, guys. Now Nick has inserted himself into this drama. Okay?
Me too. Does Matt think that that's all it takes to get me to make a video about something? I know it's easy.
Honestly, I think it would be pretty easy to goad you into making a video about someone Twink is not green. I'm doing it right now.
To just throw shit up when your channel's not doing great and you only really want to post American Truck Simulator Let's Plays. But I have a real job.
What, fuck you, you fucking dorky ass, corny ass, fucking hat wearing dork.
With a real schedule that I keep up for my audience, and I don't make videos for
Oh, I'm a hard worker. I'm actually doing real business, real work, real things. Fuck you.
Personal vendettas. I don't see how in this situation I am possibly capitalizing off of a victim story. I think Matt does make a lot of interesting points in his apology that we will talk about today. But I think that this claim that he kind of ends his response with is extremely in bad faith, and it makes me question his true...
You're extremely in bad faith. Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck you. Oh, God.
Intentions with all of the claims he's making. But why don't we continue? That's towards the end of his response. I want to reverse back to where we were before. Since my last video, 3 videos from Supermega have come out, and it has changed the way that people are viewing the initial story in a pretty big way. On the subreddit, we went from posts about Matt being a rape apologist and getting punched in the face, and then suddenly we have posts that say things like, I think people went way too far, and Matt and Ryan didn't deserve a lot of the hate they received. And on Lex's video, we suddenly have countless hateful comments that suddenly have mass amounts of likes accusing her of lying.
Just give him the moral high ground and the promise of views in his game. Well, considering I've called him Twink is not green like 15 times now, I'm really working that up.
Ruining Supermega's career for no reason, and it all comes off as pretty gross. I think when the video initially happened, there were a lot of close fans of Supermega who felt betrayed and hurt, and there were a lot of people who kind of did want to support them along the way, but kind of just stayed a little bit more quiet because of what was going on. But the moment that they both made their apologies, it seems like all these people came out of the woodworks and didn't just talk about exactly what Matt said, didn't just convey his...
He's speaking like a snarky shit. This doesn't make him seem more reliable. This makes him seem like a self-absorbed prick.
Points in a mature way, but there's a lot of people who have immediately turned around and claimed that Lex has lied about the whole thing, which makes me wonder if they even watched...
I don't think Lex lied about the whole thing, right? Let me be clear about my position. I don't think Lex lied about the whole thing. I think maybe there were some misinterpretations or an inability to be accountable to oneself, right? But I don't think Lex lied about the whole thing. But I do think that people like you and Leighton and all those fuckers took this as an opportunity to air your grievances because your friends had grievances. You're like, oh, these bitches fucked with my friends, and now I finally get the chance to help my friends. You guys, I literally, again, I hate doing this. I didn't bring up Quite on purpose for the entire time that he was being canceled. All right? Like... I'm sorry, Diesel. Us crackers are cringe. Right? I could have gotten a righteous dunk there, but I didn't. It wasn't my place. It wasn't my place. You know, it wasn't.
The response video in the first place. You'd think based off of a lot of these comments that Supermega has completely resolved themselves and maybe some crazy shit happened and Lex devised an evil plan to cancel Supermega. But surprise.
No. There are people that think that, but let's be real. The majority of people do not think that. Majority of people do not think that.
It's a lot more nuanced than that. I don't know why people think that victims always want to just be like super villains, and that's like that's their only goal. Like they're not actual damage and hurt people on the inside. And that's not me excusing some of the things we're going to talk about in this video, but I do think people were a little bit too quick to come out and support Matt and Ryan just because they agreed that they were pieces of shit in some of these circumstances. So my plan for this video is to touch on each response separately in chronological order to how they released, and then I want to talk about how I could have done better in my coverage of the story, as well as what I think.
You honestly, your closeness to the story and your personal stakes in it are exactly why you shouldn't have covered it. You should have been like, listen, I know people are telling me, I don't know if they were, but right, let's just say they are. I know people were telling me and asking me to cover this, but I know people too close to it. I can't talk about it. Right? It wouldn't be fair. That's what I did, right? When Quiet was canceled and people came into chat and they asked, Diesel, you're friends with Quiet, what happened? My response was, I can't talk about it. Quiet will have a response. Just wait for that.
About their stories and where we can.
Lex wasn't a mastermind doesn't mean nobody colluded. Yeah. And it also could have happened fluidly, right? They're friends, they're talking, they're having a social situation. They feel for their friend, so they want to get that righteous dunk.
With a lot of this. I do want to know your guys' honest thoughts in the comments. I please ask you to respond in a mature way after watching the entire video. If you do want to watch any of the videos we talk about, I'm going to put them in the links down below. I think it is helpful context to
People were too quick to take their side, but they weren't quick enough to rip up their posters and burn their merch.
Hear everything everyone has to say. Okay, so pretty soon after I posted my video on Saturday, Jim, the producer / employee of Supermega who kissed Lex in the story from the original video, he came out with an apology. This apology came in a tweet that he tweeted out that included a link to an unlisted video. So already a very weird look when trying to apologize.
Oh, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. I want to fucking, oh my God, I want to fucking hit this guy. I want to fucking throw hands. I want to throw hands so fucking bad. You're such a piece of shit. You're such a piece of shit. All right? Okay. Let's see where he goes with this. Maybe he pulls it back.
By making your video unlisted, so you need a link to see it, and you can't search it up anywhere. Of course,
you're a piece of shit. Oh, you're a piece of shit. You're a bad person. You're actually just a bad person.
I'll include the original link, I guess, in the description if you want to see it. But obviously what Jim did was embarrassing, and he should feel awkward about it. But
you're a fuck. I fucking hate you.
Let's give a brief overview of his apology.
About a year ago, as mentioned in her video, July 4th, 2022, I made her feel extremely uncomfortable with my actions.
Jim starts this video by saying, apologizing for making Lex feel uncomfortable, and comes up with a interesting point, saying that he was sexually assaulted when he was younger, and once he heard about this, he was so hurt because he said, if I made Lex feel the way that I felt when I was sexually assaulted, then I'm truly sorry.
For that, I take full responsibility for that. In college, at a party, I was raped by a man, and that's something that will sit with me for the rest of my life. If I ever made Lex feel a tiny bit like how I felt that morning after, I'm never gonna, I won't ever fucking.
So he's cutting a lot of this out, but you got to understand, when you watch this apology, that statement comes out of left field, and those sniffling pauses show me those are genuine tears. This is something that happened, okay? I bet he's going to bring up the fact that let's just see. All right. Let's just see. He posted it unlisted because he didn't want people who didn't know about the drama to hear about it. Okay? Which is crazy because Lex recently said the same thing.
Forgive myself.
It does come off, and a lot of people would agree that it was a little bit out of nowhere. I mean, obviously it's related to the incident, but when you're the person making someone else uncomfortable, I think it's more important for the apology to come first. A lot of people kind of noted this in the comments of the public one, saying that it took him a minute and 25 seconds to make this about himself.
You're such a... The first thing he says in this... The first thing Jim says in this is an apology, and then he gives the context where he was coming from.
I won't ever fucking forgive myself.
It does come off, and a lot of people would agree that it was a little bit out of nowhere. I mean, obviously it's related to the incident, but when you're the person making someone else...
It's a little bit out of nowhere. Are you serious? Are you serious? You're an evil person. You are. You have no fucking sympathy. Period. Listen. A lot of the stuff that happened to Lex is incredibly sad, and I do admit that, and I wish that her life gets better, and I hope that her life is better, right? But this is insane. I don't feel like this off. This is fucking insane. I'm mad. I'm really genuinely mad. Like I'm not playing it. I'm playing it up a little bit. I was. But this is disgusting.
It's uncomfortable. I think it's more important for the apology to come first. A lot of people kind of noted this in the comments of the public one, saying that it took him a minute and 25 seconds to make this about himself. Jim's too much of a coward to keep this up himself. Very sorry I got caught energy. There were also moments where Jim was, I guess, crying in the video, or like trying to seem like he's crying, but it was...
I want to fucking fight you. I want to fight you. You're a piece of shit. I will fucking throw hands. You have no morals, no standards. You're a horrible human being. You are. You are. Am I being uncharitable to Lex? Maybe. I tried to give Lex so much charity. You can go back and watch my earlier streams. The longer this has gone on, the angrier I've gotten. This is disgusting. You're a disgusting human being. I fucking hate you. You must think you're the most perfect man on earth. I wonder what's in your closet. What skeletons are there? What's there? I would love to know. I bet you're nothing but perfect with women. I bet you never do anything bad. I bet you've never said anything racist, right? I bet all those things, right? Sure. I really did, guys. I really did. If you watch the other streams, I gave so much kindness to Lex. We're 3 streams deep. 6 hours. 7 hours of content deep. And my sympathy for Lex is done. Because of people like you. Because you are too self-righteous to admit any fault. You're a terrible person. I can't stand you. The world would be better off without a content creator like you. You're disgusting.
I don't know. It's very odd.
I distinctly remember, like, so cringe.
It's very odd that a man cries. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Distinctly remember.
I think it's very odd that Lex didn't cry in her apology, actually. Stupid fucking argument. It addresses fucking nothing.
Saying, how hard is it to ask for consent? All you have to do is say, can I have a kiss? And then I said, can I have a kiss? And she said, yes. But it doesn't fucking matter.
Correct. I just thought that was kind of mainly what we needed to hear. Jim kind of gets into a lot of stuff that Layden said on his stream, which is kind of a big point in today's video. It's something that everything kind of revolves around when it comes to Supermega's apology. The one thing...
And again, Layton's being referenced, but he's not being shown. And as we saw, Layton was completely hysterical on his stream. How could you believe anything he says? And I get it. He's crying, right? But Layton has a bone to pick with them. It's very clear he does.
Lex that stays consistent is that Layden had a piece in all of this. Jim explains that Layden said on his stream that Jim was aroused by Lex's story that she told him, her sexual assault story. He explains...
Okay. Hold on. Layton despises Jim. Layton hates Jim, thinking he's a lazy guy who does nothing around the office. Of course, his retelling of Jim is going to be uncharitable. Hello? And again, here's another thing I've talked about on stream. When a source gilds the lily, when they make the story better than what it is. Right? It's happening right there with Layton. You got to vet it. You have these things that are coming out of Layton's mouth. What do, Nick? You go to Jim. You ask him. What's your side of the story? You go to Lex. What's her side of the story? That doesn't take that much work. You're a big YouTuber. You can do that. my like chest is like tight. Like oh yeah. Oh. Being awful about Jim's trauma will not resolve Lex's trauma. He doesn't care about victims or harm. He cares about his loyalties. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, how he treats Jim right here is how he truly treats victims. How he treats Lex is how he treats girls. Pure white knighting with no relevance to victimhood. Yeah. This is disgusting. You know, the thing is, I'd like to think BreadTube commentary, like Nick, are very moral individuals, but they're not. This is disgusting. This speaks so poorly to a whole genre of people. Oh man, this is like one of those moments where if I smoke or drank, I'd be doing that right now because
that Jim must have been aroused by this. And yeah, it was completely irrelevant to Lex's story. Jim brings this up to say that it was personally very triggering to him because it put him back in the shoes of his own assault. Now, I don't think this is...
No. He's saying he relates to it and that he feels bad for what he did because he understands what that's like. It's not him trying to make himself be the victim. He realizes his fault because he comes from a place of experience.
Something Layden knew about, so I don't think it's necessary to bring this up in a scenario where you're specifically apologizing about something you did.
Well, I don't think all these things about Lex being robbed in L.A. because she has a soft-top Jeep are relevant to bring up, but you know what? C'est la vie, that's life.
To a woman who's not Layden. But when you're apologizing about something you did and you bring up constantly that you feel awful about it because it was something you used to experience, it does kind of feel like you're taking some of the blame off yourself because of trauma that you experienced. And if I was Lex, I think this would be a hard apology for me to accept. Jim goes on to be pretty upset.
You're a piece of shit. You're terrible. You're a fucking awful person. That's it. Listen, I get it. I'm nobody. I'm a nobody. Nick, you happen to see this? You seriously, let's throw hands. Let's throw hands. I want to throw hands. You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking piece of shit. You're a terrible person. You're terrible. Terrible. You're disgusting. You're a social slimy fucking moron.
And a lot of the things Layden said, and, you know, we will continue to talk about it, but I do think that, you know, the way Layden handled that specific instance was out of hand. I do think that he should have handled that completely separate from this apology, especially because the apology's unlisted and everyone's watching it through these links. It just felt like he kind of freaked out and had to get it out there. The apology wasn't super well received.
Yeah, it's almost like being accused of SA would have a person who was SA'd freak out. Crazy, right?
Posted publicly, most people are clowning on him, and the Supermega audience is not being super forgiving about it. Most people think it was pretty lame. But around the same time, a series of screenshots from the Instagram close friends story of Matt's current girlfriend were posted on the subreddit. She posted shit on her close friends. Someone was a snake. They put it on the subreddit. I don't think that Matt's current girlfriend should be a part of the story anymore. I'm not going to say her name, and I regret bringing her
okay.
up initially, but I do think that...
I'm not going to make it through this fucking video, dude. The stuff about Matt cheating shouldn't have been included.
These stories actually give us necessary context to how Supermega was handling this controversy behind closed doors before it happened. And this was before Matt or Ryan responded. I think it was around the same time.
I have no sympathy. I don't give a shit what the fuck has happened in Nick's life to make him such a fucking moron. Fuck you. Oh my God.
Jim posted his apology, but it left a lot of people with a weird taste in their mouth. She tweets on her private Twitter, "Dude, just know people are fucking lying about me like crazy, and the only reason I haven't said anything is because Matt and my friends told me not to, because Matt is going to take care of it and tell everyone the truth in his response, debunking everything." Yeah, he told her not to say anything, and she did say something, and it got out. I don't understand how they could be worse at handling controversies, because it's very obvious what Matt's attitude about this is in this whole thing, and we'll learn a lot more in his apology. I mean, of course, he has some reasons to feel upset about the way people are talking about his magnum opus, but another tweet about the whole thing. This whole thing has been so
The magnum opus thing. I can't believe this got brought up again. I'm like seething, and I was seeing red. So I'm not really paying attention to what this fuckface is saying. But the fact we're bringing up another statement with no evidence again shows how little you understand. Literally never cover shit like this again. You are actually unqualified. You're an idiot. You actually make it worse for everybody. You make it worse for victims. You make it worse for reporters. You make it worse for everybody. Fuck you.
fucking ridiculously unfair to everyone involved and blatantly false. I know I'm not supposed to be saying anything, but I hope everyone feels like idiots when they see the receipts. Okay, I guess none of this is on her Instagram close friends. I don't know why I said that initially, but she posted something that says, taking every ounce of self-control, but period, I'll let him explain. And then posted a reaction image that says, whatever you hear about me, please believe it. I no longer have time to explain myself. You can also add some if you want. Overall, you can tell that she is not happy about it, and I can come to a conclusion about how Matt feels about it. But that is all stuff that was behind closed doors. We don't have any proof for that. So that brings us to Monday.
I think this controversy is Twink is not Green's magnum opus.
When we get a response from Matt and Ryan. We get two separate videos from Matt and Ryan. We have one that says my response Matt, one says my response Ryan. Matt's video is 48 minutes. Ryan's video is 9 minutes. In the time since, Supermega has fallen from 1 million subscribers down to 954,000. And this video was posted the other day, which was...
All right, I know on stream I'm busy looking at like the screen or like chat. So I'm not looking at the camera, which is up here above my eye line. So I have to look up at it, right? Nick, if you do these long written videos, do yourself a favor, get a fucking teleprompter, okay? And the reason for that is as follows, is that it makes you look less trustworthy. That's an actual criticism of the construction of this video. Seriously. I know that's a really stupid one to bring up this late, but... Diesel chill, man. Don't become one of those fight me IRL bros over this dude.
Surprisingly,
I do worry and care about good reporting. And that's part of the reason there hasn't been a video in the last, like, what, 2 months? Right? It's annoying because so much of reporting has gotten so bad. And this is Nick himself, right? Like gamer mode aside, Nick himself is representative of that issue that has gotten so prevalent in journalism. The really quick, the really like fast to make judgment calls, opinionated editorial disguised as news journalism. You know? And it's a problem. And it has continually been a problem and gotten worse over time. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I think social media plays a role in that. I think there's something to be said about being super reactionary. All right? But it's gotten to be such an issue with reporting that it just makes the whole entire like thing not seem worth it. Right? And I actually value reporting quite a bit. I do. I find a passionate love for it, for finding answers. And there's a part of it that's justice, of course. Every journalist wants to put down that big company. Everybody does. That's what you want to do in this field. You don't want to be the guy who's doing the cringe op-ed garbage. You want to do... The reason I bring up Hunter S. Thompson is because you want to be Hunter S. Thompson. You don't want to be local newspaper Andy. Right? So a lot of people, they try really hard to do that, and you end up with a lot of pieces like what Nick produced. SEO optimized rapid journalism is like the only way to make money online. Without fighting IRL, how do we get father for yassified baby girl diesel fan cams? I will say, I say it a lot. I'll admit that. That's true. Axis has a point. He does. He's a regular. He's been around, right? And I do. One day I will get that chance. I am deliberately trying to goad Nick into a response. I just am, right? Because he's a piece of shit. He is, right? The dream of any journalist is to be hit by the CIA. That's true. That's true. One day I too hope to be shot in the back of the head to kill myself. It's now just people talking with little research or evidence, like the way you would with a friend, except it's a whole ass platform. Can we get a hand washing? I think we're all reactionary, but common sense helps to not put down victims in defense of other victims. Hunter S. Thompson without all the drugs and getting shit beat out of you by Hell's Angels. Well, the reason I bring up Hunter S. Thompson, because I think a lot of journalists that are millennials and younger kind of idolize the idea of a journalist, and I think he kind of is that idea, right? So I use it as like the example, because if you read, which by the way, if you read Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail, Hunter S. Thompson says some crazy shit. But it's very scathing, right? It's very opinionated. But it's also very well researched. And a lot of it is embellished. But the thing is that Hunter S. Thompson was good at writing prose. We're sitting here, we've watched 13 minutes of this plus 40 minutes of Nick and his other shit. He can't write prose. He can't even write. This is just garbage. This is all garbage. It's all bad. It's a fictionalization of factual events.
As I clicked on it, pretty well received. A lot better received than you would expect. So I'm going to go through a pretty brief list of what Matt talked about in this 48-minute video. Again, watch the video for yourself. Come to your own conclusions. I do want to see where the accountability takes place, and let's see what they said. Now, the first half of Matt's video is a lot about the Lex situation. Matt says they could have handled the situation in a much better way, but he insisted that him and Ryan never took any action to cover up a sexual assault.
I also want to state that we never took any action to cover up a sexual assault, and we never tried to cover Dawn from any consequences. And I'll go into that more as we progress through the video. Despite our delayed action on this, I do want to state unequivocally that Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Dawn.
Matt flew down to Florida after learning that Dawn and Lex broke up without knowing about the sexual assault that took place. Rav reached out to Matt about this, and then Lex finally told Matt on the phone, and Matt agrees that he should not have asked Lex what he should do in this scenario. It was very obvious what he should have done, and he decided to be passive about it, and yes, this is what caused a lot of the issues that Lex talked about in her video.
To be honest, I was terrified of...
Why is he wearing a camo hat? It's so we can't see how stupid he is, man. So we can't see how stupid he is. I'm getting a bunch of Discord notice. Let me take a gander. I can't tell. I think it was a server. He's doing real work, Diesel. By that I mean not putting in actually any work in his videos.
Misstepping in this situation due to its sensitive nature and how close it was to home. I was not sure how to navigate it. This was all new territory to me, and I asked her a really stupid question because of that. I asked Lex what she wanted me to...
I need a fucking... What is happening? Somebody is pinging me. Fuck you, Matt. Fuck you. Fuck you, Matt. Matt Pitt. Now recording will hear about this. Okay? I will destroy you. The camo hat's to hide from the barbers.
Ryan to do about the situation, which was an absolutely dumbass thing to ask. I meant it from a place of, we want to help and we will do whatever it is you want us to do to make the situation better. I now see that obviously came across as me putting the responsibility of the situation back on the victim, because we did not take it as seriously right from the jump as we should have. Instead, we asked questions and tried to do some detective work and get to the bottom of it, and maybe have Dawn talk to Lex to try to figure out, you know, if this was a misunderstanding.
They hit the Pentagon, Diesel. They hit the fucking Pentagon.
Which I now see was an absolutely... You know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Matt and Ryan needed an HR department. They needed HR to do the investigation.
Terrible, terrible move, suggesting that.
He says that during this conversation with Lex, he did selfishly bring up how this would affect the channel, which is something he definitely didn't do, which means a lot of the comments about the magnum opus thing turned out to be pretty true. In the last video, we heard that...
Whoa! You specifically say how he said magnum opus. There's no magnum opus there. I don't hear the word magnum opus. They might have talked about how it impacted the channel, but did they use that language? Saying, this channel is my magnum opus is very different than saying, yeah, well, an SA allegation might actually impact our business. Right? Those are two different things.
Lex and Rav both separately said that Supermega told Lex that since Don wasn't technically an employee and he was a contract worker, that they didn't have to fire him or do anything technically. Matt doesn't understand why he would say this. He basically chalked it up to miscommunication.
I don't see the logic in that or why I would have said that, because that's not something I would have said. I think it's more realistic that something was misinterpreted or miscommunicated there.
Honestly, I don't know how that miscommunication would happen or how Lex and Rav would say something that is that specific, but that really just is up to whose word you're going to trust. Matt says that him and Ryan had a conversation with Don, and Matt says that Don's story is much different than Lex's, and they should not have taken as much time as they did to look into the story, but they were afraid of misstepping in the situation with two people that they consider to be their friends.
We asked him what had happened that night, and he explained it from his perspective, which was very different from Lex's perspective. We felt a little confused on what had happened that night, as did Rav. Rav was also trying to figure out what had gone down, and at this point, I don't think any of us still were taking it as seriously as we should have been, and that is something that I sincerely regret, because we did not take it as seriously right from the jump as we should have.
In a lot of ways, I feel like it is very simple to just confront someone up front, especially if you're paying them and they're staying at your house. I think it's pretty fair to go, hey man, can you confirm whether or not you did this very simple thing? And if it didn't happen, we need to figure out why, and we need to get you out of here. Matt then shows texts from Rav telling Matt that he has more context to what happened between Lex and Don, and the situation doesn't seem as serious as it did before.
Here you can see some text messages between myself and Rav, where Rav is saying that he figured out a little more context on the situation at one point. Rav did wisen up quicker than Ryan and I did, though. I think that he took it more seriously than we did. We were still confused and not sure what to do, and we messed up.
Now, this was before Lex's call.
Okay, so they're admitting to their mess up and that they didn't take it seriously, and then ultimately they get rid of Don. Don's a contractor. They let him go. Did it take them too long to get to the conclusion? Yeah. Did they not reach the conclusion? Well, they reached the conclusion. Lex got what she wanted. The right thing did eventually prevail. Did it take a little too long? Yeah. And they admit that. Lex is many things, but specific and direct are not two of those. Yeah.
With Matt, but Matt makes it clear that Rav ended up wising up and he took Lex's side in the situation before him and Ryan did. Matt reiterates that they did nothing at all to cover up a sexual assault, but he did say that Don's sexual assault is the reason that he left Supermega and why they didn't answer questions from fans asking about where he had gone for like a year.
I do want to state unequivocally that Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Don. People have been theorizing and asking us for over a year.
That makes complete sense based on everything we've seen.
Where did Don go? Why is Don no longer the channel artist? This is the reason. In response to what Lex told us, we removed Don as our channel artist and we cut contact with him 100%. Personal business, we have not had any communications. And we did not cover this up from other people.
It's hard for me to completely understand where they're coming from when they say they weren't trying to cover up a sexual assault, especially because two close
I cannot wait to see how he fucking mental gymnastics this bullshit.
Friends of theirs, Justin and Kelly, both removed Supermega from their Twitter bios. And according to Lex, it was after they found out about Don's situation.
See, the thing is, there's two ways you go about an SA thing, right? There's a young audience that says everything must be socially handled, right? The mob, the public must handle it, right? But ultimately, everything that needed to be done was done. This thing happened in their business. The business handled it, and they let him go. The business can't turn around and say, we let him go because he SA'd someone. This is killing me. They can't just say why they fired him as a company. Yeah. Yes. It's that simple.
Of course, by Don's situation, I mean him sexually assaulting Lex. I struggle to understand how someone as close to them like Justin wouldn't know about...
Why? Okay, and here's another thing. Why are other employees or friends, why are they allowed? Why should they be allowed to know about this? It doesn't involve them, and it's their place of work. I don't get to know why somebody else is fired from a business that I work at. That's not my right. I don't get to know that.
Someone in the Supermega office.
If I happen to find out, that's a different story. But that's different. That is way different from being told by your boss, he got fired for this reason. You can't do that.
office as being a sexual assaulter, especially because Justin knew Don. In the other case, if you knew about Supermega's controversy with another former employee of them by the name of Jackson, Lex says in her video that she knew all about the Jackson situation. She was with Matt when it happened, and it seems like their whole office was aware of that. It feels like not bringing up to the rest of your office that there is someone working amongst you who has sexually assaulted another person working amongst you, especially if all these people are friends with each other. Then
Jackson is the individual who committed suicide, correct? Because somebody dying and vanishing from everything is way different than somebody simply being fired from a workplace, okay? That's like one you need to have a sit down for. Somebody being fired, you don't need to have a sit down for. Get a real job, Nick. Get a real fucking job, bro.
Just can't understand how
these people have never worked in a physical workplace. No, 100%. They haven't worked a real job. They definitely haven't. Like it really strikes me as somebody who hasn't worked a real job. No, he stole money from them. Okay, Jackson stole money. Again. All right, then that makes again this. Let me reiterate my point. Then Daniel is the friend that died. Okay, my bad. Daniel's the friend that died. Yes. And again, why do they need to tell the class, the employees? Well, Jackson stole a bunch of money from us. That's not, your employees don't need to know that.
Weren't trying to hide this from the people around them. But Matt's answer to that would be that they didn't tell other people or the public about this because Lex wanted the situation to be private and they didn't want to speak for her.
And she expressed that she did not want this to be a thing that was public. We felt like it was not our place to address someone else's sexual assault and give that as the reasoning for removing contact with Don. We figured that as long as he was gone and we weren't working with him, you know, that was our response.
And as much as
that's completely reasonable. It is not their place to speak on Lex's assault.
Understand trying to help Lex's privacy. Don is someone that you paid that stays in your office who knows your employees. This is also a work matter, that you have someone who has sexually assaulted one of your friends amongst you guys. And I still do not understand how all of that stayed between 3 people when the rest of this shit is leaking everywhere. It just doesn't really add up to me how something like this...
I don't think they told the employees. The internet found out because of the court cases. Okay.
Happens to a close friend of yours, and that is your immediate response. Even if you ended up doing the right thing and you took the time, shouldn't we be worried about the fact that you didn't hear that a friend of yours sexually assaulted another friend of yours and immediately addressed it and kicked him out? I just don't really understand, even if Lex wanted it private, how it would be that are you guys just that busy that shit happens and it's like, oh, you know, he's going to be here this time. I messed up the timing of everything and oops, someone had to run into the guy that sexually assaulted them because I couldn't.
Okay, Lex went out of her way. Lex went out of her way to come and put herself in the room with the guy. If Lex pressed charges against Don publicly, I'm sure they would have disclosed that as being the reason. Yeah.
I had too much going on. If you have too much going on and you can't take care of...
One shift at Target would unalive them 100%. I've been told to check Drama Talk. Let me do that right now. Let's see. Hold on. What am I looking at here, Nani? What am I looking at? This is a post from Nick's subreddit. Okay, this is from 2 years ago. Oh man, this is from 2 years ago? What? Nick is still blatantly missing the issue with the breakup video. I keep checking Twitter and his Reddit to see if Nick properly responded to the backlash he has received from the breakup reaction video. And he's still doubling down, picking out the angriest, most brash haters to show his followers. Look how worked up everyone is over my silly video. Nick, no one is saying the Kira woman is a saint, and she is not an abuser, and subscribers thinking you brushed past Oscar's abusive tendencies is honestly beyond the point. The point is, Nick, Dean, and honestly all commentary YouTubers who make money off of mentally unwell people should not have made this video without proper research. Yes, okay baby made their cringy breakup video public, and yes, it's free game to comment on it. But Nick has a very public platform, so the main issue is perpetuating toxic viewpoints and misunderstandings to an audience. Oh shit. Nick's fan base is turning into a fan base he claims to hate. The rabid ones with no critical thinking or reading comprehension who just parrot whatever he says. Don't like it, unsubscribe. Haters are only calling you out because we're fans of you. But this video and your response was disappointing. Oh, no. Wow. Interesting.
Of that, you need to hire someone who can, or else you don't
No,
deserve.
this guy is never going to understand criticism or anything that anybody brings up. All right? He's never. He's going to always double down. He'll always be that guy. Right up until the point where it ruins his career and it crashes underneath him. That's it. He'll never. It's his flaw. It's his character flaw. That's it. It'll doom him. Right? Your ability to accept criticism and take the L is an important one. And he clearly can't. This video is that. He took a massive fucking L, and here it is. This is an hour of copium. Right? Like, literally a chatter brought up, don't turn into the fight me IRL guy. And what did I do immediately after that? I calmed down. I took the criticism, and I reacted to it appropriately. Okay? It's been a good 20 minutes since I called him Twink is not green.
Of your business. You don't know how to handle it. This isn't a question of whether or not they didn't know her intentions or whether or not everything was as serious as it was. This is a personal thing that is happening to friends of yours. This isn't like something on paper where you have to like figure out how to find like physical proof that something happened. I think I can never imagine that happening to a close friend of mine and having the power to do something about it, but kind of just like waiting for the victim to take action rather than help her tell her story. But
wait a second. But that's what you did. Lex told you this story a while ago and you sat on it. You did exactly that. What do you mean? What? Well, I wouldn't say no if he agreed to a boxing match, but let's be real, guys. He's never going to. He would say that it's like chauvinistic, the misogynistic, Andrew Tate cringe energy, something like that, right? Something along those lines. He'd say that. I'd do it, but you can yell if you want, Teehee.
Matt does admit that they were cowardly in the scenario and they should have cut contact with Don immediately, but it took much longer than it should have. Matt says it was his fault that Don was around the Super Megaplex.
They're accusing him of being a fake ally to women in the comments. Your employer is not your friend. Don't be surprised if they don't act like your friend. Yeah, toxic masculinity shit. And hell, maybe I am a little toxically masculine. I'm a dude's dude. I like guns and violence. It's fun.
Lex was there, and it was handled in the wrong way. He said that he was fed up with Don staying at his place after learning about what happened to Lex, but sent Don to the office to stay with Rav.
But Coffee Addict, you bring up a very good point. All right. The whole millennial Zoomer idea that your employer is your friend and you're one big family, that needs to stop. We are not running our business like that at Mana Potion Coffee at all. That is not what we're gonna be. We give really generous fucking contracts, but I don't want to do that shit.
And forgot that he told Lex
we're goblin allies, not women. Is he saying he'd tell her story if she didn't want to? That's not your job, dude. No, well, I don't know what he's saying because he's doing that and not doing that at the same time. He's like, it kind of cancels it out what he's saying. It's just such a weird, bad point.
Would be gone.
Lex also brought up an instance where
from New
she
York,
went to go stay at the office and Dawn was there. This was a complete accident and misunderstanding on my end. It is completely my fault. I did not mean for that to happen, and I take full responsibility for that. I had been fed up with Dawn staying with me, especially after hearing what Lex had told me, and Lex had not arrived in town yet. At the time, I also had 2 or 3 people staying with me on top of Dawn, and I felt really overwhelmed. I had a lot going on in my personal life at the time that was stressing me out, and I felt overwhelmed.
This is going to be interesting for later in the story, how Matt immediately figures out a situation to home one of his friends, Don, after knowing what he did to Lex. But then down the line, when Lex and Rav literally don't have a home to go to, and the one place where they had all of their stuff was literally stolen from them, now we have all these comments from people online saying that Lex and Rav were just taking Supermega for granted, and they should have been happy that they could have stayed there those few days that they did. We'll get to that. It's a complete mess, but I think a lot of these stories about the homelessness part of Lex's story have been like harshly discounted in this video, and shows a lot of instances in where Matt kind of completely goes over some of the things that Lex shows in her video, which I will get to in a second. But let's continue. Matt shows screenshots showing that he was kicking Dawn from the office after realizing that he told Lex that she could stay.
This is an outrageous double down. Wow. If I hear we're family at a job, it better be a literal family business or I walk that minute. No, yeah. I do think Matt and Ryan are a bit of pushovers, Bimbson. I absolutely think that. They just take in anybody. All their friends couch surfing. I just don't. You need to be able to support yourself. I'd never. But you know what? Maybe that's a whole like California versus East Coast kind of thing.
There. Matt says he felt like he was babysitting Don in a text that he shows, and that's why he sent him to the office where Lex ended up being. Again, Matt says that he recognizes where he failed and that he wants to take full accountability for it. Matt claims that the communication with Lex and Rav staying at the office was poor and that all four of them could have been more mature about the situation, but Ryan and Matt felt that
I think what bothers me is people are focusing on Supermega and weirdly enough Game Grumps instead of the person we should be focusing on. You see, the problem is that everybody moved the goalpost and now this is where it is.
that the tensions were too high, so they didn't feel like having that conversation at the time.
All around, it was a pretty weird vibe, and I think all four of us could have acted more mature during that period, but we failed to communicate, and that is largely on myself and Ryan.
And this is another instance where I think a lot of people start to go, well, you know, they're just human, they're busy, they can't really figure out what's going on, but it still doesn't address the multiple days of communication that Lex didn't have with the guys when she needed to get into the place. And it also doesn't address the fact that these are real friends of yours who are in your city and like desperately need help. I don't know if we remember the story in Lex's video because suddenly people are saying that she's tried to claim that Supermega made her homeless or whatever. But no, Lex trusted a friend of hers.
She did claim that.
A close friend of hers that she trusted to take her situation in a way that was serious and took action, like a person who actually runs a business with a bunch of their fucking friends. But if you can't run a business with a bunch of people who are friends of yours, like we have seen time and time again, you hire these people in your group, you make them a part of your channel, and then suddenly one by one people are leaving. And they
This reminds me, Diesel. I need to crash on your couch from now until the foreseeable future. Okay, thanks.
all seem to just have bad things to say about it. Later in this video, I am going to show
West Coast, everyone's in everyone's business. East Coast, if you talk to me, I might punch you. I don't want anybody in my personal business. Fucking stay the fuck out of my business. You're fucking crazy. I don't even know if you people are real. I'm literally in a room right now, a rubber room with rats.
that Matt showed that do help his side, that do make it look like he was being more responsive, and I think those texts give us good context, but it continually pushes this narrative that because Layden and Lex were nice to Matt and Ryan during this time where apparently they were miserable, that means that they were somehow lying about that thing. And I don't know if a lot of you are the same way, but I feel like when someone has the resources like Supermega has to take care of people close to them, there's obviously a dynamic.
There's a difference from taking care of people close to me to letting people just run right over me. I just...
here in which Rav and Lex feel like they need to kiss up to Matt and Ryan.
I don't know if I'd take advice on how to run a business from this guy. Hell yeah, absolutely, I would not. We're all in your head, Diesel. I've been in a coma for 10 years, guys.
And she even said it in her video that that's why she was being so nice, because she was desperate for a place and she thought she had a friend who could provide it to her, but she was more and more feeling like she was overstepping and more feeling like they were.
You know what? I don't fucking care. Lex needed to fucking get her shit together. I'm sorry. This woman could afford an apartment and just chose not to. She bought a expensive fucking car. Fuck off. I don't care. I just can't. I can't expend empathy for her anymore. I can't. Like I said, and I'll bring it up again, I've seen real homelessness. Okay, you don't know what it's like to work with people who like haven't showered in months. Okay, they smell, but you got to show empathy because you understand that their living conditions are bad. Or fucking, you go into a home and there's roaches all over the walls. Or the guy working at the corner of the street is actually the former kid of somebody that you used to work with, and now he deals crack on the street. And his clothes don't fit him because he lives in a homeless shelter. You know, like, this is like, you don't know poverty, okay? You just don't. You're speaking from a position of such privilege, it's like insane.
Wanted her out of the house, and just because they're nice over text doesn't mean that disproves what they said later.
They offered to help her find an apartment. Yeah.
Which is that it felt like they were one step.
Posting some potentially bad tweets from Nick. Oh, I gotta see this. All right. Is he like going off right now? Oh, is Nick getting shit? Oh. Oh, this is all from his 2 years ago thing. We'll look at those soon. Yeah. They say if Lex was homeless, but if they saw a homeless person at a bus station or airport, they'd avoid looking. Yeah.
Away from being fully kicked out and having to move all the way back to where they went because a lot of unfortunate shit happened. And Matt and Ryan can even say themselves that they're...
You work in a business where you don't need to live in LA, and I would implore a YouTuber not to move to LA because it'll turn you into a crazy person. I would implore a creator of OnlyFans content to work from wherever they are or live in a place that has good tax laws so they can commit fraud more easily. It's okay, honey. I know you don't report it to the IRS. I won't say anything if you don't say anything.
Human, they make mistakes. These things are all miscommunication. But then when it comes to people actually living in their house and needing shelter, who they consider to be close friends, people are kind of treating it like this black and white situation where you can't let someone live in your space, even though everyone says it's completely trashed and it smells disgusting. And you guys are like going into work and not talking to them somehow. But at the same time, you're upset with them saying it's just, I understand that they take accountability for a lot of that. And I do appreciate that. But I think this more and more goes to show that Matt and Ryan aren't really fit to be in this kind of position where they're housing multiple friends at Matt's house and at this office, and they somehow still have Don here and he's mixing in with everybody else. People keep saying that this situation has been pushed completely on Matt and Ryan and that it's not even about the original thing anymore. We should be focused on Don. But
That's
people keep...
true. That's true. It has. I mean, Jesus Christ, we're 30 minutes deep and it's all been about that.
Forgetting that they are agreeing that they did all this horrible shit, and just because they agreed that they did it because there was proof that they did it.
You're like really stretching the definition. Like they acted too kind when they should have been a lot harder, and they should have been more forceful with a bunch of things at other points. But to say that they did like outrageously horrible shit, like the way that this is framed is like, oh, they essayed Lex, and that is not it.
That doesn't mean that suddenly everyone was lying about everything. Matt goes on to say that in Lex's video, she explains that Matt and Ryan gave her and Rav a cold shoulder, and it sort of felt like they were being constantly nudged to get out of there, with Jim constantly texting them about these vacations that they were taking when Lex had to go back home to her mom because her dog was sick, and suddenly it's like...
Well, that's only one example. They go off on a bunch of excursions that she even calls vacations, and then she turns around and calls them business trips.
Oh, you and Rav are taking another vacation, even though you're driving across the country in your Jeep with everything you own just to come to California and have it stolen from you.
It's like Don got away with it through all this drama bullshit. Like, what was the essay at this point?
I don't understand how this isn't a severe enough situation where you need to sit down with these people who are close to you and give them a talk about how you can support them in that time. But if you're going to support all these other people staying at your house for all these different reasons, don't you think being completely homeless and having all your personal belongings stolen from you is a big enough reason to allow people to...
I hate... Words mean nothing. Words mean nothing. I had my stuff robbed out of my Jeep with the soft top. I was homeless, living in a hotel with a hairdryer. You have no idea how many homeless women would love to have a cheap hotel hairdryer. Okay? You have no idea. Homeless people don't have places to move back to. Exactly.
Like, stay until they get the help they need? Because if not, then these people aren't as close to you as you think they are, and you need to not open yourselves up to being an option for people to come and stay at your place.
Why did you open yourself up to these people then? Well, fucking everybody get out. Everybody get out. You live on the street now. Fuck off. I don't care. I don't care. Someone gets to live rent-free and they act like a fucking annoying asshole. Go on, hit the road, Jack. I don't give a shit. I'll throw all your shit in the road. You overstay your welcome at my place? Guess where you are? On the curb. That's it.
Serious shit happens, and then suddenly you don't want to support them anymore. Matt shows text responding to this tension where he said that the only reason they were ignoring Lex and Rav is because they spaced out and they were wrapped up in their own worlds. Jim was hired to communicate for them, so that's why Jim talks to Lex and Rav about leaving the office, and Matt and Ryan just sat in the group chat and let Jim talk for them. They said that because they were staying at the office when all of this happened, this became a work issue and not a personal issue with them. So because personal friends of them...
Yeah, it's the only good opinion he had. She chose to move to Cali. Yeah, she chose to move to Cali. You know why? Because real creators work in Cali. If you want to make it in this industry, you move to California. Bullshit. Stay away from Cloudy is right. Gives you brainworms.
Became homeless, but the building that you let them stay at was an office and not a house, that means that you need to deal with this in a work manner and kick them out. I don't think that makes sense, especially because you're letting them stay between your house and the office, and because you do business with all your friends. If you do business with your friends and they're all a part of your channel and they're a part of the culture and the work culture you build, you don't even have an HR department because everyone's friends, then that means that this isn't a work issue anymore. It is a personal issue because your personal lives
I don't care if you're my friend. You talk to HR, baby. You heard it here first.
are a part of this office. If your office is a place that is holding friends of yours and people are living out of that space, then yeah, it's personal. They're your friends. We don't deal with it like a work matter just because it happened in a fucking building that was where you work. Matt claims that Jim was better at communicating these things than they were, so they put Jim in a group chat with them to settle it. But obviously, from Lex's point of view, it's pretty intimidating to have the two guys just sitting in a group chat who decide whether or not you're going to live there without them even saying anything, and having Jim call you needing to handle other personal things in your life as like vacations. The more and more I hear these parts of the story, the more and more it feels like they are missing a lot of the details that does make this more nuanced, like Matt said.
Overall, I would like for people to understand that this situation is not entirely black and white. There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of personal feelings involved on all sides.
And I think we need to look at that from the other side. Too. Just because the guy who was holding those people at his house is suddenly saying that Jim was hired to be the guy that needs to kick out their friends when they stay too long. No, I don't like that excuse. I don't feel like that's a very good excuse, but we'll...
I don't know how much more I can take of this. He just deliberately misinterprets everything they put out. He's
we'll keep going. Matt says that Lex and Rav voluntarily left the office and showed a text from them saying that they were leaving and apologizing for their long stay. Now, again, I don't really think that this is good proof that there isn't any tension, because obviously with Lex showing just how much she was going through at the time, the fact that they might be the only people who can actually take care of them until they can find a place to settle down, of course, they're going to be nice about it. That's a normal trauma response to have to something like this that happened to her. To have this sexual assault happen and go about it the way it did, that affects someone. And I think the fact that they didn't only see that they messed up there, but feel like they didn't mess up from, removing Lex and Rav from their home, I find that hard to believe. Lex repeatedly says in the video that the trauma response she had through this whole experience is what scared her from putting her foot down and asking for their help in the first place, because she genuinely didn't feel like Ryan and Matt were trying to help her out.
You know how there's
Is he purposefully being disingenuous? No, he's just a self-righteous prick. That's really it.
Flight or fawn. I think I did fawn. I'm looking this up. I don't want to fuck this up. Fawn. People pleaser. Lack of identity. No boundaries. Overwhelmed.
Oh my god, this pop psychology bullshit. I understand that this relates to like real things, but the problem is that again, this is like the gaslight, manipulative, like that kind of language. It's just so fucking overused.
Codependent. Yep. So I was doing that overtime. That whole stay at Matt's was a lot.
Even Matt says in this video that it's not about the intention. It's about the way that Lex feels about the whole thing. And even after confronting him about it, it obviously did not make her feel welcomed.
I wasn't sure how to talk about this type of situation, and I believe that
that's a reasonable thing to say. Most people don't know how to talk about sexual assault with their friend. Okay? Zoomer self-diagnosis, yeah.
Things that I said to Lex on this call came across very differently from what I intended, but I do know that intent does not change how it was interpreted and how Lex felt about it.
Matt can show as many texts as he wants between him and Lex showing that they were friendly and that they're really close friends, but all I see is that someone you were really close friends with tried to make things right with you and give you the benefit of the doubt, but she walked away feeling like she couldn't even tell her story in a comfortable way to you guys. Matt says that him and Rav talked months later about it, and they agreed that everyone was in a bad place last summer and that they made up about it.
After they left, things did seem tense for a little bit, but they seemed to subside. I rekindled things with Rav several months later. We spoke about the last summer and how we were all in bad places and it was awkward. Rav and I, apologized to each other and made up. We did this at my house as well as a little discussion at Creator Clash 2023, which again is why I found myself very confused when Rav said what he did on Twitter recently.
Matt says because of the text he had between Lex, he thought everything was okay and that him and Lex were fine,
yeah,
but
it's a touchy subject, If I was in their shoes, I don't know if I'd say everything correctly, and I'd hope that as a drama tuber, I'd know how to navigate the situation better. But the thing is, you don't know until you get into that situation.
That, and this is where the video changes a lot, Matt insinuates that things seem to change between him and Lex once Matt and Ryan fired Layden as their merch designer.
And since last summer, I assumed that my relationship with Lex was much better. For example, here's several texts I received from Lex between November of last year and February of this year. I thought that after I apologized to her last July, things had smoothed out, and I think you can see why I would think that. But that communication ceased around the time that we fired Layden, who is a close friend of hers.
A big part about this video that Matt and Ryan were very upset about is the comments that Layden made about Daniel and his suicide and the way that Matt and Ryan handle it.
And if you've dealt with suicide, you know that grief is different for each person, and you know that there are a lot of complex and confusing...
Oh boy, he's about to say something really stupid again, isn't he? I feel like Nick is about to put his foot in his mouth. I feel like we're about to reach Twink is not green territories again.
Using emotions that come with the grief regarding suicide. Some of those include anger, and if I ever expressed that to Lex, which again, I firmly believe that I did not, if that's the case, then I find it wildly inappropriate that Lex would use something I said in a very vulnerable state to weaponize and to make me look worse.
Of course, I see how Matt and Ryan would respond to this in a negative way if it's not true. But in the same way, Matt brings up these details about his personal relationship that were brought up in this situation, and it's another thing that he was pretty upset about in terms of people dragging in other people into his life that have nothing to do with this.
And I don't think it was appropriate or necessary to drag both my current girlfriend and my ex-girlfriends into the line of fire. They are both being...
Yep. That's completely... Yep. Okay, thank God Nick didn't, like, poo-poo on them for saying whatever they said about their friend who killed themselves.
Harassed viciously, and their personal lives are being used as weapons to make me look worse, and I think that's completely unacceptable.
And although I do think that there were a lot of instances that were unnecessary to bring up about you, in the same way, your life is so connected. I mean, you say it yourself that Supermega is your magnum opus. It is a part of you.
Stop it. You bring that up all the time. I haven't seen proof that he ever said that, you fucking idiot. Yes, Synthetic Teapot, yes.
Your personal life is a part of this channel. And when you're...
Hold on. Matt is not talking about his sex dating life with the internet. That's not what Supermega is about, okay? His entire life does not need to be public in the same way that I don't need to talk about, I don't know, your sex life, Nick. Your sex life has no bearing on this, and I understand that I called you Twink is not green the entire time. I don't know if you're a twink. Maybe you are power bottom taking the dick sexual style, but the thing is, that's a joke, right? like he doesn't need to be a part of it, and now you're trying to justify it.
Audience feels like you led them on to be a different person than you actually are. That is
in no sense of the word did I ever get the idea that Matt was like some pious monogamous Andy guy. I don't like
a part of your job, as sad as it is. Matt largely includes a lot of his personal life in his content, and even if he keeps one thing private, I feel like when a former friend of yours comes forward about sexual assault that happened under your home, behind closed doors, you shouldn't be saying that Matt's going to be debunking everything and that he's going to prove everyone wrong. We're all going to feel like fucking idiots. I think that's pretty necessary context that your own girlfriend is calling all the people who believe in this girl's story like dumb as shit because you're here to like disprove it all. And yes, a lot of this situation has a lot of nuance, has conversations between people that from our point of view we're never going to hear. I am not surprised that they came forward and they don't feel the same way Lex did. Of course they don't feel the same way Lex did about the whole situation, or they would have done something right. But that's our main issue, is that any of this happened in the first place. Of course this whole thing is pretty messy, but I think we should kind of move past all of the relationship stuff. Matt does talk about
we should move past all the relationship stuff despite you just saying that it needed to be in this.
a lot of the romantic things that happened between him and Morg Pie, who was the person who had a stream about her very short like hookup thing with Matt. And I think that's another thing that he covers in the video that I also think we should just maybe not focus on as much as the main story. But
that's crazy. It's almost like you included that in the last video. Is there an apology or no? Okay.
The reason it matters is because when Matt concluded this part of the video, when he said that Morg Pie and him just had some very big misunderstandings on where they were in terms of the sexual part of their very short relationship. The important thing is that Matt explains that this happened, and this stream by Morg Pie happened after she became friends with Layden, basically insinuating that Layden being fired was a turning point in Lex and Morg Pie coming forward with both of their stories. And this is kind of the turning point where a lot of people's perceptions...
Which, by the way, Layton was going to have Lex as a permanent co-host on a podcast where he talked to OnlyFans women, which... No, I'm not going to finish that, but, like, I could... It just, that would not be a good show.
Shifted of Supermega from initially when Lex put out her video till when Matt put out his response.
Following when I had that text conversation with Morgan in June where we smoothed things over, Morgan began hanging out with our ex-employee Layton more, and I have not heard from her since that conversation until I saw her stream.
And this revolves around their ex-merch designer Layton, who had a pretty long stream the other day and made a lot of claims and accusations against Supermega that weren't really initially talked about in Lex's video. This part of the video largely refutes a lot of what Layton was saying, and I think it resulted in people shifting a lot more of the blame to the victims of this situation rather than the people who caused it in the first place. Again, I don't have a connection to Layton. I have
wrong, lie.
Friends who are friends with him, but I don't really know. It claims a lot about a person. If you
please see the tweet that I have shown a couple times. Oh.
Think that they're talking about their experience with you just because like one of your former employees who got fired like months ago is like orchestrating all of them.
I like how they shit on Matt's girlfriend for saying everyone's gonna feel dumb very soon when they literally said the same thing. Yeah, you bring up a great point, Kojo. Bring up a great point.
To come after you. And I do think that Matt says some things about Layden in here that don't make him look great about the situation. I don't think he should have said anything in the first place, and I do regret talking about it because it has become this conversation over whether or not Layden was like the mastermind behind this thing. It insinuates
Layton is not the mastermind, but you definitely look like you capitalized on it. Yeah, Bimson. I was thinking of the Whatever podcast. I was thinking of that.
that both of the women in this story are coming forward only because they're friends of this guy who hates them. Layden can talk shit and lie about you guys as much as he wants, but I think it's kind of insane to think that that was the turning point for Lex to speak out about her getting sexually assaulted in your house, especially because she's being harassed endlessly and she's not even a YouTuber and had to put a video out on a channel that didn't even have anybody there to watch in the first place.
Yeah, but let's not talk about it like Lex isn't a fucking creator.
And I do want to clarify here that when I say the turning point for Lex to tell her story, I very well think that Layden could have convinced Lex and given her the courage to step up and say something. But I definitely don't think that everything was good between Lex and Supermega. And then once she became friends with Layden, all of a sudden, she has 2.5 hours worth of stories about how they made her uncomfortable and how they treated her. I mean, I don't think he can support Lex's story and really make this claim at the same time, because in order for this to be
this capitalization happens organically, but it still happens. Exactly.
true, it would have to mean that Lex made up or exaggerated the way she felt about Supermega and their way of handling the situation. According to them, she was very valid in most of the points that she made. Anyways, I'm going to talk about what Matt brings up about Layden, and talk about what I think about it and where some of these missteps may have happened. Because while I think that the YouTube comments are pretty gross on all the videos, I mean, literally, like, one of the top comments on their video is like, can we please just talk about the fact that they're all attacking Matt and Ryan so hard, no one's attacking Don for sexually assaulting someone? That usually happens when the people who are watching over all of this have the biggest platform. They're the only ones that are tying this whole thing together. None of this would have really happened if she was not put in that position. So
okay, so now it's okay to target Matt and Ryan and completely ignore the SA stuff. Okay, got it. That's exactly the exact thing I want to take away from this.
Matt says that since Layden was fired in March, he has been on a vindictive campaign to deplatform them and ruin their image. Matt shows...
Oh my God.
Text from Layden showing that he was sorry about mistakes that he was making in the company and that he was ready to leave Supermega because he felt like he couldn't handle the job. Matt and Ryan ended up letting Layden go, but originally he was even thinking about leaving himself.
I've talked about Layden in a prior stream about how dysfunctional the guy is there. He's super dysfunctional.
Heard from sources that Layden said that if things went south with him and Supermega, he could easily get them canceled, but when they brought this up to Layden, he swore he didn't say any of that. Matt said that Layden was all in on all the jokes they were making about him. He even encouraged them up until the point he was fired. Matt shows a lot of text from Layden showing that he was fully comfortable with the jokes and that he didn't blame Matt and Ryan for any of it. And although I do believe that there is a very obvious dynamic, if you have your boss above you, you know, telling these jokes, even if they do ask you if you're okay with it, it's obvious that Layden was in a weird position with Supermega where he constantly felt like he was on like the brim of being fired. So I do think...
Okay, I am 40 minutes deep, and I fucking hate this video. This is stupid and bad, and it's very clear that he has no, like, ability to understand and critically think about how he could have been wrong or take an L. It's not hard to take an L. We can all do it. Stupid. Very stupid. I fucking, you love to see it. I think I'm gonna say that I'm done for the evening. Nick, terrible person. Yeah. He's pulling his cock out. You can't. The bread tubers have to be perfect. Yeah, it is. Whatever. I listen, man, I make mistakes. I am so worried about ever waking up one day and being like Nick. You know? I am. I want to, like, is there something that happens in, like, a drama tuber's brain where they wake up one day and they just become a piece of shit? Like, when does that happen? I don't want to be that person. I don't. You know, don't get me wrong. We have our fun here. But shit, dude. I just don't want to be that guy. I don't want to ever turn into that. I don't want to ever lose touch with, like, reality or, like, because I would feel like it would undo the good work I've done in, like, social work and stuff like that. Right? But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the real moral arbiter is Nick is not green. Maybe I'm the one who's a terrible person. I think Nick was born this way. Yeah, but I've seen a lot of creators that are like Nick, right? So I don't know if something happens, like I get famous or something, and then all of a sudden I wake up one day and I'm like, I could say no wrong, and everything I say is gospel. But, yeah. I think these people just had the potential to be shit and then got a platform to evolve into shit. Just touch grass regularly. I know. I need to keep doing that. I need to make sure I stay on my grass touching arc. Nah, you're not a terrible person. You're a good friend and awesome. Yeah, but I could be a bad person one day. You never know. Once you stop touching grass. I gotta make sure to keep touching grass then. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, chat. I know it says stream starting. I need to get a stream ending scene. But, yeah, go to bed. Go fucking sleep. That's true. Stay out of LA. I feel like LA will do that to you.